It's the Bennington Show on a Friday. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And I am Ron Bennington. Now, Vito, I distinctly told you that we'd be playing Allman Brothers all week. You went and started with traffic. I can't put up with this anymore. You're fired.
This is ridiculous.
You're done, Vito. Get your stuff.
Why did you do this,
I don't
Vito?
even get 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. You get 2 weeks starting 2 weeks ago. That's how I fire people.
That's not how it works.
Yes, it is. I sign a paper, and I just put 2 weeks ago on it. That's the way I get around things, okay? That's why I'm writing a book, How to Manage People book, called Fuck Them Over. It's the Trump years. Well, I wasn't stuck in a cab, and your train wasn't stuck under a river, so everything is perfect.
It's all good.
Yeah. You can stop screaming inside and just be here with us today. It's a Friday, so we got an Unmasked coming up later on, right?
Unmasked with Demetri Martin at 2 p.m.
Oh. Nice. His new movie's called Dean. Dean. And I'm going to give it 3 apples.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Big apple. That's very good.
Better than no apples.
No apples is as bad as you can get. And red apple. Red apple.
It's Mr. Red Apple.
Mr. Red Apple's coming to get you.
Come here, kid.
Yeah. So Dean, and by the way, Tuesday, we're playing the Jim Jeffries that we did yesterday, and I'll just say this, outstanding. I'm really looking forward to his new show. It's such a coin flip. You know what I mean? Whether America will embrace him and this is that kind of street guy common sense that we're working for, or do a, what the fuck is he talking about?
As he get off.
I don't know how he can be on, just when you listen to this, a lot of people say Chris curses a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I cursed once on the air, but it was the worst curse of all. The minority curse. And they basically acted like I put up a Trump head for everybody to see. I threw a Trump head into Barron's room.
Well, if you go by Jim Jeffries on the Unmasked, I think it's going to be a smash because he was
unbelievable. He was wall to wall funny.
So funny.
Wall to wall funny and telling some funny O&A stories and the guy's he's a phenomenal storyteller. He's incredibly funny. Yesterday, thank God we got out of that Paris what is it? The Paris
Accords.
Yeah, but what is there some
Paris Agreement, Paris Summit,
Environment
Climate Summit?
Climate Summit, maybe, I don't know. But I spent all morning today doing my favorite thing, burning tires. I had a big stack of them, just lit them on fire. I tried to get it to say, make America great again, but it really just looks like, oh.
I unloaded 3 cans of hairspray today. Not even in my hair, just into the air.
Sure.
Shooting it off like,
yeah. That's what we do when we all, Vito, why are you still here? You're fired. You played the wrong song. Although, perhaps the greatest song of all time. Perhaps what I would call a perfect song. We should play Perfect Song in the air today.
I would love
Who could we get to play with us around here? See if Danny and Lauren down the hall want to play Perfect Song. First of all, Vito, where do you think you're going? You're not helping. What don't you believe about being fired?
I'm trying to make up for my firing by...
You know what? I like that.
Yeah.
I like that get up and go. You can stay on, but the paychecks stop.
Well, that seems like I still have been fired then.
That's fair.
No, you get to work here.
You're just demoted to intern.
They get paid.
Yeah, you're the intern's intern. You get stuff for the interns.
Oh, no, that one next week's going to be real mean to me then.
Oh, stop it. You act like you're not fired, but you are. You can't play the wrong song in this business.
Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Even if you do have a nice new stiff shirt.
It's a nice dark blue. I thought it would look nice.
It is nice.
Brings out my skin tone.
Well, what pale?
Sweat?
Pale and sweat. I gotta make sure I plug whatever I need to plug here too. Okay, 2:00, Dean. We're putting a hold on that other thing, huh?
Yeah.
We should have ran like a goddamn Banshees because the same thing happened last time.
I know.
Vito, if you ever get hired at another producer job, remember to take over for Chris. GPS Boston, that's what I wanted to push.
That's this Saturday, 3 p.m. East on Deep Tracks, Channel 27.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Really, really great.
A very eclectic one. A little something for everyone.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. A little something for everybody out of Boston.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to plug this. I don't know whether... Do we ever have it on our Twitter? Or is it just on yours? The gift that was sent to you yesterday. Oh,
yeah, I think it's just on my...
Okay. Speaking of gifts, who do these cigars come from?
Stacy, the tugboat captain.
I love that name, too.
Yeah.
Stacy, the tugboat captain. Sounds like a really great Woody Guthrie song.
And I heard that he also left a little present for you in the office.
There's some bottles of moonshine, some with maraschino cherries, and some with peaches, and then also a rape defense item.
And also your favorite soda.
And RC Cola. I think it's better than fucking Coca-Cola.
Well, you are in the minority.
Yes.
I mean, that's...
I've always thought that since a child. I'm like, where's the RC at?
Yeah, you know why you thought that? Because your broke dick family was buying RC Cola the whole time. So this is... You're kind of punching and stabbing at the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly. You keep it on your keychain.
Now, do you think this is legal in New York City? It looks like if you look at it this way, it's the old Phantom on comic strip head.
Yeah.
But can you have this in New York?
I think they are illegal because it's the same as the kitty cat one.
Yeah.
All of those are illegal.
I never saw that.
Now this, he was saying, is you can get through security because it's plastic.
It is plastic. So this is a great way to hijack a plane. That is weird because that looks like, I mean, like with brass knuckles, you're going to knock somebody up. With this, you're just going to,
yeah.
It's like a double stab.
Yeah. It's just puncturing things. Mostly skin. Eyeballs, I would think.
I don't think you're going to get both of them unless a very small person. What you're probably going to do is scrape both sides of the nose with this.
Get away from me.
I'll scrape both sides of your nose, motherfucker. Road runner. Oh man, I'm giving shit away. I shouldn't be.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, I know. I didn't mean so. It's just, that I think is like in my head, but it's not. Well, here we are doing radio.
Yep.
Not my dream job, but you know what? Not so bad either.
It's not your dream job?
No.
I always thought that it was. What is your dream job then?
Pediatrics doctor.
Really? Strictly pediatrics?
Went in, tried it. According to them, I wasn't very good at it. Yes. You know why I want to do strictly pediatrics? I don't want any big instruments to work with. I like to work with nice, small instruments. Chris, I might end up hitting you with this thing today, because I'm so curious to see how it works. But I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll let you pick where. You can pick a thigh if you want to.
You
got some nice meaty thighs there.
That was the first place I thought.
I know.
I would have thought you would have went butt cheek. I think that would be less painful than thigh.
Well, no, a thigh's going to hurt more, but you like to sit down every once in a while.
Exactly. I can deal with a limp, but I want to sit down comfortably.
Maybe that's just a woman's perspective. That's where we have most our padding.
Mm. I would think most of Chris's padding would be in his knee.
No. They are so puffy.
I'll tell you the thing that screwed me up as a pediatric doctor. I tried a radical operation.
What was it?
I operated on a healthy toddler and ended up losing him on the table.
Oh, God.
And my point was this. Now we know. You know what I mean? You got to break a few eggs to make some eggs sunny side up. That's always my thing.
But these are children, not eggs. I mean, it's like a young child.
Yeah, now we
parents.
know that, don't we?
Okay. You
feel bad for the parents, do you? Not the person. What was the operation?
Yeah.
Brain surgery. What I call deep brain surgery. Down at the bottom of the... Well, we've never found out until that operation what's at the bottom of the brain.
What is?
Gooky stuff. What I call, in a technical term, you guys wouldn't understand it. You didn't go to med school, which...
Seems like your findings are not very specific, though.
I think they're very specific. And as a matter of fact, my med school was just self-taught.
You learned on the streets.
Yeah. I learned from stabbing victims how to operate. So right now, I'd like to do an operation on Chris's thigh or girl buttocks. Jen, you ever been operated on?
I did, yeah.
What did you get done?
I had strabismus.
I don't know what that is.
It's like when your eyes are a little...
let me guess. It's a Trinidad thing?
No, or maybe it might be.
Yeah. So your eyes were too little?
No, my eyes kind of like...
to the enhancement, enlarging of the eyeball.
I could take off these right here. What's this called? Over top the... I call my hoods. Is that the right name? I could take your eye lids off right now. And your eyes would be big and beautiful. They would pop as I put my ad. Want to make your eyes pop? So what happened to you?
I had a slight cross-eyed issue.
Oh, that's so cute.
No,
were you a cross-eyed kid?
I wasn't complete. Like, it was like if I stared at you for a long time, then my eye would start to drip down.
First of all, why are you fucking staring at me so much? Is this mean a fight's about to start?
Take a picture, it'll last longer.
Not necessarily, because you should see her stare. It's actually out longer than most Polaroids. Well, that's really embarrassing.
It was.
You were Cross-Eyed Mary, might be your new nickname. Road Runner. I did it again. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I mean, I fixed it in like 3rd grade.
A little Cross-Eyed Mary for people. What happened to the Tull? Are they still around? They still rocking things?
I think they are.
What happened? Bungle in the jungle and then you drop off the face of the earth?
So they operated on your eyeball?
Yeah, like it was awful. I had crusties like in my eye, like massive crusties for like a week. It was so gross.
Really, that's all you got out of it. Massive crusties.
It feels good to take them out, though.
That actually sounds like a Pauly Shore catchphrase. Massive crusties.
Pauly, stop it. She's cross-eyed.
She got a little crustage. Can I tell Steve Kisser?
The janitor?
How come none of those films won an Oscar?
I don't know. I love them so much.
And now he calls himself Paul Shore. Paul Shore, nice to see you. He thinks Pauly sounds like a baby's name.
You got the E?
Yes, he cut the E, Chris. Figured it out.
I always remember the Weasel character being in a Kid and Play movie. Does anyone else remember this? Like he was...
Not even slightly. I have no... First of all, I only know one Kid and Play movie, and it's the best movie ever done.
Why were we just talking about
We talk about Kid and Play every day. Because
right,
we love Kid, we hate Play.
I think everyone feels that way.
I would say this, Play held back Kid. I think Kid would still be making movies today. Anyway, no, I don't remember a Pauly Shore in a Kid and Play movie. Why would that be? Was he lost on his bicycle?
I vividly remember them being in a school
vividly
remember. I remember
huh?
this shit. They're in a hallway, and then the fucking weasel comes out of nowhere, has this interaction with them, and then you never see him again for the rest of the movie.
What hallway were they in?
Like a school hallway, like a high school.
How fucking young were they at the time?
It's like young Kid and Play.
They would never. No, their first movie was the House Party. And they were already out of school by then, right?
Are you trying to tell me Pauly Shore was in House Party?
I feel like he was in House Party.
Maybe he was in House Party 3. I didn't see that one. Or 2. I normally watch one of everything, and that's it. I didn't even know Rocky became a champion. Somebody fucking just said it to me the other day in passing.
Spoiler alert.
Thank you, Chris. I'll take it easy on the thigh when I punch it.
Thank you very much.
And maybe now, just to say, I'm going to get behind that eye of yours and see if I can stop it from crossing. I wonder what they did to stop her eye from crossing.
Like probably tightened the muscle.
Yeah, they tightened my muscle, yeah. That's
yeah, do a little tighten up.
Oh, do the tighten up on the eye?
Hold on, Miguel thinks he knows this fucking long-lost blockbuster movie that Chris saw. Miguel, Houston.
Hey, yeah, the movie that Chris is thinking of is called Class Act.
What's Class Act?
You're the one who brought it up.
Yeah, it's a movie where Kid and Play they have to switch identities. Play as the bad kid, and kid is the good kid, and they have to switch.
Why? They don't even look alike. You can't do those things.
Is it an official Kid and Play joint, or they...
A joint?
Or they just
right after House Party 2. Yeah, they were in it.
I'm pretty sure all I've ever seen is House Party 1. Miguel, you're going to find yourself going to the pretty good prize closet for pulling that out. Very proud of you. And proud of the guy I now call Mr. Memory, Chris Stanley.
It was vivid. He said it was vivid.
Chris saw this. This is his favorite movie.
Ever.
What's it called again?
Class Act.
Class Act.
With Kid and Play.
Now, did Play have to put on kids' hair, or what the fuck happened there?
That I can't remember, but it makes sense if they did. I mean, get that fucking flat top, bro.
Oh, Jesus. Why would you say bro like that? Fucking racism. Where did we get the donuts today for Donut Day?
No donuts on us.
What?
Today's National Donut Day.
I understand. I know. I didn't have an intern to go grab some.
You could have at least got a drone.
I just fired fucking one of your guys today. He could have run down on his way home. Yeah, the drone is delivering donuts. That's up on the iBank today. We finally hit the future. A drone delivering donuts. This looks so stupid. Do you really want to fucking look into the sky and see hanging bags of donuts?
Most of the things I order for delivery, I'm ashamed of.
Look at the size of the fucking guy getting donuts. Like, couldn't they find a thin guy to get the donuts? Look,
Chris,
it's 400 fucking. All right,
Come on.
He just had a great memory.
Class Act. Great movie.
Dude, yeah, I think you could have picked a better first spokesperson.
Sure. They should just show him fucking dropping into his mouth from 300 feet.
Yeah, most of the things I have ordered for delivery, I don't want seen flown across the sky. That's private.
I don't want to look up in the air and just see drones fucking flying in every direction, taking people shampoo and fucking donuts. You know what I mean?
Also, like, I see how we do the subway system in this city. So we're going to add a drone system as well? Flight patterns going through the city?
Oh, you know what? It never occurred to me flight patterns would be the way to go. I just was thinking drones were crisscrossing each other all over. Like, eventually you wouldn't even be able to see the sky because it's covered in fucking cheeseburgers.
It's droney out today, isn't it?
So you're thinking that they'll have highways of drones.
They've got to, because I think it would chaos otherwise.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I wouldn't even have come up with the way planes fly like that. I would just like, you're on your own. Once you're in the air, you're on your own.
There's a lot of sky out there.
Don't hit each other.
It seems like with all that sky, would it be actually hard for two fucking planes to fly into each other? But then again, what do I know? I got kicked out of fucking med school.
But not for lack of trying. You know, you really gave it your best.
Kind of. I mean, it was high most of the time.
Okay. This explains it.
I was the only person who, when I started college, I said my major was post-med. So I could get a lot of stupid girls. I got a feeling, though, that I could do an eye operation on Jen.
Well, it's already halfway done, so.
Yeah, I only got to do the other side. The good side. And try to get that crossed as I possibly can.
Just gotta loosen it up in here. Just nice and loose.
Get it nice and loose so it's just bobbing around like it's got no fucking problems in the world. What did we find out from Vito? Was that a chance for him to go get donuts? So you jump up like you're going to go do something, and you go over 2 feet and sit down. And breathe heavy.
No wonder you're fired.
I can get donuts if we want some donuts.
No, I don't want fucking donuts. What's the thing that I told you?
They are free.
What time?
After 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. They're so busy until after 1. What do they do? Somebody at the Beatles Channel need a fucking pretzel? This is for the guy running the board at the Beatles Channel. Boy, the Beatles Channel is the biggest thing around here now.
It's so huge. It's like our new crown jewel, I feel.
Like I said it's not the real Beatles, it's the Beatles Channel.
But
they're no better there than any other channel.
You got the Beatles?
They were asking, I don't know why, I think I had it in the back of my head that Leeds asked me for a female comic. That might be good, too. I don't know what they do. They bring celebrities on there and they say nice things about the Beatles. Like, I was a different kind of kid. I liked the Beatles when I was younger. Which is every human being born since the fucking Beatles. That's the only band that they said every human being likes.
Have you met a person who says, I hate the Beatles?
I've met fucking psycho killers, and they're like, my favorite album's the White Album. I'm like, I know, dude, but there's no reason to go around fucking yelling number 9 while you're stabbing people, especially when it's your 8th victim. So who's the fuck up now? You are. No. I mean, I've met people that don't like, I had a PD who loved the Beatles and he loved Star Wars, to let you know how fucking mainstream he was, right? And then every day on the air, I would either say something bad about George Lucas or the Beatles. And he'd be like, every day he would fall for it. He'd be like, I can't believe you don't like the Beatles. I go, it sounds like baby music to me. It sounds like something like when the song is over, a fucking little clown should come out of a box.
I think the reason everybody because they had so many phases, there's a version of the Beatles for everyone.
Yeah, my favorite version is Wings.
Did they play Wings on the Beatles channel? Like, do they play Beatles related acts?
They play solo stuff, and then they also, I think they have a thing that's called Before the Beatles, where they play the bands that the Beatles liked.
Okay.
I mean, at a certain point, you're just a regular fucking radio station if you're going too far. And then they also play people who cover the Beatles.
Okay. This is, so it's all Beatles related, but not strictly.
It's the Beatles channel.
I did hear a George Harrison solo on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great because you never get to hear a lot of that solo stuff. A lot of the, what I like to call, thick tracks. That's the tracks that are thicker into the album. But yeah, so there's plenty of that, like Plastic Ono Band stuff that you don't normally get to hear. And I was told one day we'll do a takeover. But,
if we take over, should we just not play the Beatles?
That would be great. We
and
just play
pirate radio.
This is the Rolling Stones, a band that's fucking a million times better than the Beatles.
Lock the studio door, Chrissy.
I said, what's next? I go, will we get a Stones channel? And they go, well, first we want to get a second and then third Springsteen channel. That's how much they like Bruce. Josh in New Hampshire. New Hampshire?
Bennington,
Yes.
New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Love the Beatles channel. Love your channel the best, obviously. But
Sure.
this summer, I'm wondering, is there talk to bring back yacht rock? Because like yourself, I'm also starved of Michael McDonald and Steely Dan constantly.
What a fool believes. Who was in charge of Yacht Rock last year?
I think Rob Cross was in charge.
Can you text him? You still got his text?
Yeah, I got it.
Say we're getting requests if Yacht Rock is coming back. Now, you can always hear these things on your phone or handheld device, I believe. I believe they don't go away that way. They only go away in your automotive machines.
Right.
No answer yet from Rob.
Jesus, that's odd.
No.
I thought he'd be waiting right next to his text box. Hit me up on my text box. By the way, if anybody wants to talk to me, it's Ronnie B99 at CompuServe.
Wow, they're still around?
I got stock in them, buddy. Right now, I'm the largest stockholder in CompuServe. I finally took over the company. That's insulting my stock tip, I guess.
I like your cool mask.
Yeah, it's like a little phantom mask. What do you say?
Nothing back yet. I'm
So
just
you-
asking someone else.
No, you know
guys have
what?
problems?
Next text is say, okay, fuck you, Rob. What more do I have to do?
The best is that there's timestamps on text, so you would see that happened a minute and a half before.
Nope.
I'm
It's
in a
over.
meeting. Maybe he wasn't even in charge of Yacht Rock. Maybe he just liked it.
He's a big fan, but I believe he's also was programming it. But I'm asking around. I'm going to figure it out.
Who else was it? Zito again? He always goes to Zito.
Handsome Giant Tube 6.
Tito's your only source.
Yeah, what happened to Handsome Johnny's fucking station? Cover Me Down, I think it was
I
called.
believe it's online. It's an online station. So it's still going.
That's the same as anybody. All right, good for him. He just wanted to play cover songs.
Under the covers.
Because, you know, how much people hate originals. That might be part of our perfect song today.
Oh, I already wrote it down. Did you see me going?
Yeah. Lauren down the hall and Denny are going to play with us. So apparently, according to Vito, he took 2 steps over, laid down, had a fucking small ham. Or as he calls it, baby ham.
Go big with the ham.
You know what? The blue is fucking great on
It does look nice.
Yeah.
I feel really good about it.
And Chris, yours is, that shirt is called Inside of the Sleeping Bag.
It's a great pattern, Ron. It's a nice red flannel.
Yeah. That's
You
great.
call that red?
It's not red?
No, it's brown to me.
It's brown.
What?
That's a brown shirt.
Yeah.
This is a brown shirt. This
Yes,
is
you fucking
red.
Nazi.
This is red. This is a red shirt.
Stop yelling at us. It's a brown shirt.
No, this isn't brown. This is fucking red.
Okay, when our guests get here, let's not even bring it up again. We'll ask them to say what color your shirt is. And if somebody says something stupid like reddish brown, the game is over.
They will be asked to leave immediately.
Monday we were off because, Gail, you're taking another vacation.
This is really my first ask.
Yeah.
But I have to go to a bachelorette weekend.
So stupid. You're as dumb as fucking Chris right now. Both of you guys spend money to go places that you didn't plan to go.
I know.
First of all, Miami's great in the spring.
I know.
Late fall.
I agree.
Summer, it's a fucking nightmare.
It's going to be, and I probably pretty stormy, right? In the mornings and stuff.
Well,
That's when it's
afternoon it gets stormy, but, you know. You can just pull on Stormy Monday by the fucking Allman Brothers. Like we were supposed to play today before Vito got fired. For once again going to his favorite song of all time, Low Sparks, a High-Heeled Boy. The great Stevie Winwood. Stevie Winwood, motherfucker. Proud of you.
So I've got this bachelorette weekend this weekend. The wedding is in late August. And then just this morning I woke up to a text from her cousin saying, and just so you guys know, I'm planning the wedding shower. It's going to be in July. And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot. There's another thing that's going to happen.
Destination shower?
Why don't you have the... yes, that one's in Arkansas. They wanted to wait for skeeter season. Why don't you just learn to say no? I don't want anything to do with you and your hopes and your dreams of a better future. Steve, in Atlanta.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, man.
Yacht Rock is on channel 311 on Sirius XM.
Guess what? You're going into a pretty good prize closet.
Ow!
Chris, congratulations. You just cost me yet another prize.
Fuck.
And right back now to him and say, never mind, Steve told us.
We'll let Rob know.
Hey, hold on. Throw out a fucking tie rope here. It's the good Captain Stacy. Stacy, how are you, sir?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all having a good day so far?
Hi, Stacy.
Hey, folks.
I'm loving these cigars.
No, those little stogies I brought you, 2 of those can only be purchased in Tennessee. They're custom made, so I figured that might be something you might enjoy there, my friend.
I will be smoking them 2 at a time. I'll just put both in my mouth.
Well, if you enjoy it, you let me know. I'll bring you up more on the next trip.
Now, why did you give Chris a weapon?
Look at the women he's sleeping with. He
You're
might
right.
protect himself.
You know what? You're right. Every time he goes out, I think, well, this is the night he gets his throat slit.
Yeah, you know, I was just kind of worried about the young man. So.
This is a good idea. It's a very good idea.
Thoughtful.
And the RC Cola, I know you love that, Chris.
I fucking love RC Cola.
Make yourself an RC float tonight where you take a fucking Breyer's ice cream, throw a scoop into the RC.
What goes good with an RC Cola, Chris?
Yeah.
No, what goes good with it is sitting on top of it.
Why can't you answer? It's moonshine, you knucklehead.
Oh, booze.
Not booze, it's moonshine,
No.
right?
No, there's something else he's
No.
saying that he dropped off with it. With the RC Cola.
Oh, moon pie. A moon pie goes. He dropped off moon
my
pies.
God, you couldn't be more southern for a guy born and raised in Queens. RC Cola and a moon pie.
Okay, y'all have a good day. I'll
You
talk to you
take care,
later.
Captain.
Thanks so much,
Peace.
Stacy.
Thanks, Captain.
Bye.
You ever see what a tugboat can pull, the size? I mean, I don't know. I mean, the only thing that I would compare to a tugboat is an ant. From when they could pick up something that much bigger. You'll see this massive ship being pulled, because a lot of the ships aren't allowed to go through the harbor or whatever, so the tugboat pulls them out. And you're like, how could this massive ship be pulled by a tugboat? That fucking tugboat, and it's not even straining.
Yeah, and it's like, I love watching that, like, in the East River, just one of those, like, huge freight with a little teeny tiny guy. It was, like, always my favorite thing to say.
Chris, who made their money in tugboats? One of your fucking heroes of all time.
I don't know.
He went on to buy a little team that some people call the New York Yankees. That's where George Steinbrenner's money came from.
I never knew he was a tugboat man.
He was a Cleveland tugboat guy, Great Lakes. And I'm telling you, this guy must have known more about tugboats than any fucking other 10 people in the world, because he was able to turn around and buy the goddamn Yankees with it. And at one point, there was a rumor that he was going to give Billy Martin a tugboat, which would have been this huge amount of money. I mean, tugboats aren't cheap. They go for like $9,000. No, I don't know what they are. I mean, they're a lot of money. And there was a thing that he was going to, like, he had yelled at him or whatever, and then there was Billy Martin swore that George said to him, if you guys win a fucking championship, I'll give you a tugboat. And George is like, shut the fuck up. But I guess they were out drinking one night. And he just said, I'll give you one of my tugboats.
I believe Billy.
I think they're both born liars.
Billy just wanted a goddamn boat. Come on. George had the money.
Yeah. Having the money. Do you know why people have the money? They don't think about it the way you do.
Oh, okay.
Because if you had 2 tugboats, you'd probably give away 3. That's how quick you are to get rid of your riches.
Where am I going to find a 3rd tugboat? Shit. Keep promising these things.
Ron, I'm in trouble.
Dude, can you fucking help me out and get me a tugboat? Or even just 2 cigarette boats that we can tie together? They're pretty strong. Yeah,
It's fucking smoking, really wheezing the fuck up.
Oh my god, that hacking cough is going to be back soon.
Hacking cough is his Indian name. And I'm talking like the India over next to Pakistan name. The pollution's getting bad since yesterday, isn't it? Yeah. There's just open coal fires wherever you look around New York City.
It's horrible.
At least everything's warm again.
So did you guys see this tweet from Mega Tim, who made this for me? We should retweet this on Bennington because I've already retweeted on my own. But go to my Twitter, Chris, and then pull up.
He just fucking typed out the term my Twitter, Chris.
Oh, he can't do it.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He can't.
You can't pull through.
Why do you hate me, Gail?
All right, so this is a styrofoam ice chest, and it's talking, and it has googly eyes like Jen, and it says, "Why do you hate me, Gail?" First of all, it just proves that this guy owns a styrofoam fucking chest and 2 giant googly eyes. Now, the sound of that kills you?
Kills me. I just threw off my headphones because I didn't think he was going to play it right away.
Tell everybody what your Twitter is.
It is at Gail Ann AAANN.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
GAILAAA.
That's the worst Twitter name ever.
I was not leading a public life when I got that Twitter.
Oh, good idea. Yeah. Probably had like 5 followers then. Like, that's great, honey. Well, see you at the reunion. Hit it again. So this is a talking styrofoam ice chest. Nice.
Why do you hate me, Gail? I am just a simple ice chest.
First of all, this could be a great children's show. Second, styrofoam doesn't even bother me, and that starts to bug me after a while. I don't think I've ever heard that much styrofoam in a row before.
It like hurts my teeth. Like for some reason, it makes me feel like I want to rip my teeth out.
Jen told me she had sex on a styrofoam ice chest one time, and she loved it.
That's disgusting.
Hey, any word on the sports star that Jen likes that we might get?
None yet. It looks good, but
First of all, just so you know, you Russian bastard, you said nothing yet.
None yet.
None yet. Oh, did you guys see the Rusky on today with the new NBC girl?
no.
Mm-mm.
So, I guess her name is Megan Fox. She used to be over at Fox.
Megan Kelly?
Yeah, that's it. She used to be over at Kelly. So, Megan Kelly is in Russia, and they're showing live feeds, right? And it's fucking Megan Kelly and all the Russians that are tied in with, supposedly the Trump case. And then being fucking, it looked like the Russian mafia was watching. And she would ask a question, and he would be like, through the translator, it'd be like, "Oh, please, girl, what do you think you're talking about?" Like, he was like really fucking talking down to her and giggling like who would ask a bunch of questions. And all the Russians were laughing at her, and she just fucking just held her ground. I'm like, "You're brave as shit, man. You are brave as shit." And she's like, "Even Donald Trump said the Russians were involved in this. Why would Donald say such a thing? Perhaps you know things other people don't."
Holy shit.
Oh my
And you're
God.
just, I mean, it was fucking weird to see her. It's just her surrounded by and they're all just laughing along with everything he says. And believe me, nothing he said would get on Raw Dog Comedy Channel. I mean, he's not that funny, but he doesn't know it because over there, he fucking slays. Ken in Rhode Island. Ken, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Ron. Hey. I
Ken
just want to
Shane?
put in my vote. Yeah, it is.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, man. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, listen, I just want to put in my vote for a little station on Sirius XM that probably no one outside of the Grand Strand knows about. It's a limited time station called Carolina Shag.
Just
number
heard it the
13.
other day. We were going crazy for it.
Yeah, we didn't even know
Amazing.
we didn't even know it existed. I'm really
No,
excited
I
to
didn't
listen.
either. Yeah, last weekend we drove down to New Jersey. We listened to it the whole time, and it's all that great beach music from the Carolinas. It's just fantastic.
But that's such an interesting scene because those bands aren't necessarily Carolina bands. They're R&B.
No.
They're R&B bands that the people on those beaches have just decided these are our songs for like the last 50 years, and they make up their own dances to it.
Yeah, they danced the Shag, and some of the songs were hits, but a lot of them are obscure and regional. And but man, what great music they're playing! I don't know how long that station will last, but
Hopefully all
great.
summer. It seems like a great summer.
So it's just basically like the kind of music you can dance this specific thing to?
Not really. There's no way to say what the R&B hits that they take, but they fucking shag dance to everything. And I don't know whether it still happens, but it used to be like if chairman of the board would show up there, most people would think of him as 70s one-hit wonder, right? But they would show up there and play to 10, 15,000 people.
Oh, man.
Just going crazy
they're
for him.
superstars.
Yeah.
Yep, they're superstars in that area. Absolutely.
By the way, that's
So,
also
I
one of
love
my
that
favorite
one.
songs of all time. Give me just a little more time.
Oh, yeah.
One of the few songs about male virginity that he wants to hold on to. Right back to him and ask who's running the Carolina Shag station.
Got it.
Did he answer all of our other stuff?
He answered, "Fuck yeah," to "Is Yacht Rock coming back?"
Yeah.
Now, what about Carolina Shag?
Tell him we're loving it. And what's the story there? I thought we were going to get some chairman of the board.
That's coming as well.
This is like their fucking Freebird in Carolina. I'm not making that up.
I can remember the first time I heard that song.
Is that right?
Yeah. In your car as a little kid, and you were singing it just the same way you're singing it now.
Yeah. Well, the one with dances. What are you going to do? So that's Carolina Shag.
Channel 13. And Lou Simon runs it. And then Handsome Giant Tube Stick says, "Love that channel."
Tell them both we're crazy about that channel, and I want to push Lou Simon out and take it over completely.
Got it.
No.
I'll send
those people.
I'll send to him right now.
Here's somebody from North Carolina knows all. Oh, look who just walked by from Rolling Stone magazine. Our buddy Rob.
Missed it.
How do we never know what's going on in this building? Here's our buddy Chuck in North Carolina.
Yeah, Ronnie, what's happening, man?
What's up?
I was going to tell you, man, when I was about 16 or 17, my mother took Shag lessons at the damn community center, and my daddy drove a truck. He wasn't there, so I was who she had to practice with.
Yeah.
And she used to practice to this song by the Swinging Medallions every fucking time, Double Shot. And when I got out of high school, I went to the beach. I think I was 18 or 19. You could go to those clubs that did that Shag shit and pick up any middle-aged single woman in there if you knew how to shag.
It's been a really long thing that's just specifically known to the Carolina beaches.
There's clubs.
Yeah.
They have clubs and festivals and all kinds of shit, but that's fucking Swinging Medallions Double Shot. I heard that motherfucker a million times.
There's no similarity between this and that other song.
No.
But it's always R&B groups from kind of late 50s up into the 70s.
Yeah, because this is so much more doo-wop-y in its sound.
That's
and
why they're on their own down there. They just they pick and choose the way they want to in the Carolinas. Carolina summertime, crazy. Just crazy.
You, barbecue, cold beer, and shagging. I'll see you, Ronnie. Have a good weekend.
I love summer traditions, too. We used to do a summer tradition. It seems stupid now to look back on it, but we used to call it 4th of July, and we would shoot off fireworks.
Why'd you pick that day?
I think it was my aunt's birthday.
And it's always sexy to women. Like, a good dancer is always sexy to women. Because, like, not only is it like you're coordinated and it's like a physical thing, but then you have to be confident enough to step out and go, oh, I can dance well. Like, I'll step out here.
Well, you know, if you ever see the people who win those Dancing with the Stars thing, a lot of the male celebrities are always athletes. It's an athletic thing to be able to pull off. But, you know, it's never seen that way. Mike in Cherry Hill, he has a problem with the Carolina Shag.
How's it going, Ron?
Hey.
It's a great station. Like 8 out of 10 songs are great. And then they'll mix in like a Lisa Stansfield or like some shitty like knockoff Jimmy Buffett type song. But then they'll play the Esquires and Jackie Wilson.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. It's not, it's just the pattern that those people set up for themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like they are beachy too, besides being funky R&B people.
But it is great. It's better than the Soul Station.
Well, you know what? We don't have to compare like that. I mean, that guy wants to keep his job too.
We don't need to start a radio war between these two.
Let them. You know what? We've got over 17,000 stations on Sirius XM.
It's too many.
You think?
I can't keep up.
No, me neither. I can't find anything. I went to 3 stations. And I didn't hear anything. It just had dog whistle written on it. My dog was going fucking crazy though. I tell you the truth, I honestly feel like I can hear things better than your dog, Gail.
Really? You think she's deaf?
I shot off a gun next door once.
Well, that's why.
That might be true. Okay. Another experiment. Figured out. Why don't we break here? It's 1:00. And if we're going to do Perfect Song, I know Vito's moved over 2 seats, so he might be exhausted. Coming up today at 2:00, we're going to jump into the Unmasked with Demetri Martin. His movie out is called Dean. And then we will also be doing GPS Boston this weekend, Saturday, 3 p.m. on that. Right back, Bennington. The Perfect Song. This is something that Gail and I have believed in for a long time, that there's perfect songs by each band, perfect songs for every occasion. And why not go to a guy who does occasion radio himself and occasion DJing? He will DJ your prom, your graduation party,
retirement parties.
Retirement parties, whatever you need.
Yeah.
Denny's here right now. Nice to see you, Denny.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
I've been asked by O&A producers that you please leave 5 minutes before the end of the show so there's no crossover patterns.
Okay, I understand.
And Lauren down the hall is here. Lauren.
Hi.
She used to be 50s, but no more, right?
I no longer work on Cousin Brucey.
What do you work on?
I work on the Top 40 channel.
Wow.
Now, I don't want to, and that's Hits 1?
Yeah.
I don't want to speak out of school, but I happen to know that one of your big stars is drinking every weekend with an alcoholic, Mr. Chris Stanley. And that is trouble. That's the way you lose town.
That mic died.
What mic is that?
Well,
okay.
I didn't come all the way down the hall to work with faulty equipment.
I like when Chris just says that mic, and there's 4 of us with mics.
Yeah. Gail's mic.
Gail, is your mic working?
Yes, my mic is working. I can hear it.
It works. I hear it. Lauren's mic doesn't work. It's not a hot mic.
Yeah. Chris is doing the guy from Grand Funk Railroad who comes running in, just helps out. Is that better there, Chris?
Let's see.
You happy with it?
Yeah.
I think that's much better.
Hey, okay.
We've got some juice to cover.
Chris Stanley.
Yay.
Chris Stanley, everybody. He's a one-man gang. Had 2 other producers just staring at him while he was doing it. All right, so Gail, let you start it off. And if you guys got any ideas for, like, themes of this question, it's up to you. But, Gail, you throw it in first.
All right, so I feel like it is appropriate to start off. What to you is a perfect pop song of all time?
Perfect pop song.
Wow.
Pop song.
Of all time.
Like, what makes a perfect pop song?
No, just give us a song.
What is the song?
If someone says you have to come up with... by the way, have you guys seen Beat Shazam yet? Because I like to put both of you on it. It's a big Jamie Foxx show. You got to guess the hits.
I heard about that.
And you can win $1 million.
We did that last year before Jamie Foxx even thought of it.
Yeah.
Me and Denny.
Yeah.
And look what's happening right now.
Yeah. In the old days, they just called it Name That Tune.
Right. In the old days, it was Name That Tune. It's today, Jamie Foxx was listening to you guys. All right. Perfect pop song. Gail, let's go to you first, though, so they can pick up on it.
Okay. So to me, a perfect pop song is Like a Prayer by Madonna.
Really?
I think that it has build, it's slow. By the end of it, it's like almost like gang chorus, everybody singing. It's a danceable song. It is an iconic song to me.
It is an iconic song. Now, are you saying pop from any decade?
Any decade of any
Anyway.
time. It's a perfect pop song.
All right, I'm going to pick one, and I know for a fact this is a perfect pop song because I agree with me on it. It's Tommy James and the Shondells, I Think We're Alone Now. Perfect pop song.
And covered in a perfect way, too. Like, I think that...
the 80s version?
Yes, I think that says a lot because it's a pop song that could have been a hit in any time.
Yeah, who covered that?
Tiffany.
Yeah.
What is she doing now? It's sad. You know what I mean?
Mall concerts.
Yeah.
Not doing much.
Somebody told me that she is working as a day worker, picking oranges. And I hope that's not true.
Terrible news.
All right, let's go to Lauren, because she's a pop girl.
She is.
I think of something happy, upbeat. I think like Dave Clark 5, Glad All Over, Bits and Pieces. Keep it under 250.
Yeah.
Upbeat, happy, good chorus, catchy. Like that's what comes to mind.
The Dave Clark 5.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love that she thought about timing, too. Yeah. Because, like, you want it...
You want it very, very
under
fast.
250. Yeah.
Where do you want a song? What's your perfect song? Do you want
I like
under
the
250?
Grassroots.
Yeah.
The Grassroots,
that's a real
Midnight
good call.
Confessions.
Yeah.
That's a really good call.
Or Three Dog Night, Shambhala.
Yeah.
You know? I like that kind of pop from the 60s.
You're a 60s pop guy.
Well, yeah, I like a lot of music. I won't say that, anything today is garbage.
Right.
That pigeonholes you and makes you an old man.
You still listen to current pop music, right? I mean, you still like...
Sure.
Well, he cares about the charts. He cares about what's climbing the charts.
Yeah, I like what's good.
Is there a pop song that's popular right now that is a perfect pop song? Like, what's the best pop song currently?
Well, I think go ahead. I'll defer to you.
I would say Ed Sheeran right now. Ed Sheeran, Shape of You.
How does that guy become a gigantic hit?
It's been number one for a long time.
A really long time.
Yeah.
And I honestly know it because it's always on in the bathroom.
And Ed Sheeran should never bring up a song that has shape in it. That's just my own thing. He's leading himself to,
He looks like the Weezer from Little Rascals.
Well, that wouldn't be bad. I got to go home and grease Weezer. I got to grease Weezer, which don't accidentally end up spreading cheese all over him.
Yes, he gets the hives or something.
Everything that he likes is old. He does it.
No. I mean, I think the Justin Timberlake song "Can't Stop This Feeling" is a great record. That really puts, I guess, the dance floor pumping. Uptown Funk.
Uptown Funk, like it does well. Did well a couple years ago.
It still works. There's certain songs that, as a mobile entertainer, when you throw these songs out there on the dance floor.
Wait, you're called a mobile entertainer?
A disc jockey, DJ entertainer.
Right. Because you don't have discs anymore, you can't.
Right.
You just hit play and then you go away.
Well, no. You see, that's what people think. That's what people think. I tell them the hard drive of hits just makes it easier, because every time I'd be going through record store CDs, I go, I haven't played "I Drink Alone" by George Thorogood in a long time. The next gig, some guy would come up. You got any Thorogood? Yeah, how about "Bad to the Bone"? No, I want to hear, Right. So, but now everything is on
you can play whatever they want to hear.
Yeah.
It's almost like they don't need you.
Well, no, they do need me, because I offer the personality.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Personality plus.
Why didn't you bring that in here?
Well, I'm just keeping it, on the down low. I have 2 gigs this weekend. I don't want to blow it all in one shot.
What kind of gigs you got this weekend?
Well, I have a wedding, and I have a school function, a retirement function.
Now, when you have a wedding, you just come in last minute, you set up.
No.
You're like, who's the bride, who's the groom?
No, show prep. I get together with the couple.
Yeah.
I sit down with them. I get the vibe of what they like.
Day of or beforehand?
No, way beforehand.
If you go on Dennis's website, DennisFalcone.com, that exact line is on Dennis's website. I sit with the couple. I just literally he's reading his website description.
You have to find out what they want. And more importantly, what they don't want.
Yeah.
I always hit them with that first. Give me a list of what you don't want.
Like you do a lot of them on Long Island, right?
Yeah.
When you say what you don't want, does black music come up a lot? Is that what they say?
Race music? No. Race music? No. It's basically a lot of the participation dances. So a lot of people are kind of...
I'm going to give you guys a perfect song right now. Perfect summer song. It's got to be a song for the summer. Reminds you of summer, feels like summer, it's summer. Lauren's ready.
I got one. Instantly that comes to mind is Hot Fun in the Summertime, Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah.
One of the great songs of all time.
That makes me think of summer instantly.
Now, do you like that or Sweet Willie's version of it that he did out of Philly?
You gotta go with Sly Stone.
Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah.
How about for you?
Me, growing up in the inner city, I was, growing up in the hood. Summer in the City by the Lovin' Spoonful. It's just got that gritty feel. But it's got the jackhammer in there.
I don't like when he says the back of my neck.
Dirt.
Gross.
Yeah.
It's
a little, go home and wash. I mean, I know it's hot out, but you have showers.
Yeah, I understand the sweat, but what's the grit?
I always have the feeling, too, like he was... Well, you ever see, a baby will get a ring around his neck?
Gross.
Yeah.
That's the way I always... Like a baby ring. But I always, thought to myself, what is he wearing, a turtleneck? I mean, come on. Dress for the occasion. Yeah. What do you got, Gail?
I think The Boys of Summer, Don Henley, is a perfect summer song.
Somebody told me that was a gay song the other day.
Really?
Yeah, then I listened to it and I go, yeah, I think it is.
What about... Because he thinks he's singing to another man? Singing to
another man, like you've been with the Twinks, but I'm going to be here. An old, I guess, daddy or bear.
This old bear?
Yeah.
It's going to be here.
And another one is the closing song that was heard over the movie American Graffiti. Beach Boys, All Summer Long. We've been having fun all summer long. T-shirts when I spilled Coke all over your blouse. I think he meant Coca-Cola.
T-shirts, cutoffs, and a pair of...
sandals.
Yeah, but I think he says tongs or thongs.
Thongs.
And I always what the fuck is that? We never even call them thongs here.
They also used to call them Zoris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Zoris, thongs, and flip-flops.
So, the Beach Boys, literally I don't listen to except for in the summer.
No.
And
well, that's where you're wrong, because that's where, if you ever held the Cabin Fever Reliever weekend, we'd be able to play a lot of those summertime songs.
I'd rather kill myself than have a Cabin Fever Reliever.
I brought this up for you before, and I thought you might have taken the hint.
No, I'm not going to.
I like the idea of the Cabin Fever Reliever.
But if I'm going to pick the Beach Boys in the summer, and I like yours has summer in it. Mm-hmm. All you guys picked summer somewhere.
Yeah.
In it. But I'm on California Girls, which may be my favorite Beach Boys song.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask, is it the cover?
Oh, the cover by David Lee Roth.
I love.
Yeah, Gail loves the David Lee Roth version of that because she loved David Lee Roth when she was a little kid.
It was like my first crush.
Diamond Dave.
You're like, see you in September, the happenings. It's like this time of the year.
Now that's a sad one. What was she like, going away to camp or something?
I guess, maybe she was going away or.
That song is one of those songs that sounds like it's being sung by like a choir. Like there's, at certain points there's like, how many voices you got on this? 30?
Well, it was 4 voices. It was the happenings. Bob Miranda and the happenings.
But I think there's more voices.
And that was a 50s song, actually.
I didn't know that.
Originally done by the Tempos.
So that's a cover song.
Yeah. Well, they did a bunch of. They also did I Got Rhythm, the happenings. They also did a version of My Mammy.
They did.
Yeah, nobody heard that one.
Yeah.
Now,
some people have, because stand back, we're going to blow the dust off this one and exhume it from the groove yard of your mind.
Okay, that's good.
Yard,
you like that?
No, that was it?
What's that?
That's the way you go. You don't back sell that way.
No, just front sell.
Just front sell.
Forward motion.
Yeah, always forward. You never back sell.
You don't back sell?
No.
You ever find yourself reading a laundry list? You just listen to
right in there. And before that, we also heard from. No,
yeah.
just keep going.
Never do it. Keep going forward.
You're working on an oldie station or a vintage format. People punch in and they know you're playing it. Unless it's Fontella Bass, who sounded a bit like Aretha Franklin in Rescue Me.
Okay, so a lot of people thought that was Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, that period of time. How about the Knickerbockers doing Lies, sounding like the Beatles?
All right, I'm going to give you guys another perfect song.
Okay.
You bring up the Beatles, and this is a very personal thing for people. Yeah. The perfect Beatles song.
We should have Sad and Happy.
Does it go like from mainstream or just personally?
Whatever. I say personal.
Okay.
You got to say this is you got one, Gail?
I had mine, and I was immediately like the first song that came to me, and I know it's personal. I know it's not going to be for everyone. But to me, the perfect Beatles song is Happiness is a Warm Gun.
No, it's not. No. Okay,
it truly is.
Now, what's the reason there? What's the reason that Happiness is a Warm Gun?
I think just that the structure of it, like the way it moves, the sound of it is very Beatles to me. Like it's very much there. It's my favorite song of theirs.
What about for you, Lauren?
Oh, that's hard.
That's really tough. You really can't.
Supposed to be hard. Yeah. Supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
Let's just say this. Nazis have your parents and they're going to kill them. Unless,
does that make it easier?
You also had the separation of, 62 to 65 and then, right after Rubber Soul and Revolver, they changed their
I always
sound.
called that the Red Album or the Blue Album.
Right.
Which people, the younger people don't know that Red Album. So either one, then you got to do one and we're going to give Lauren an extra
I like
second.
a movie song. I always love The Night Before.
That's good.
That's
they
a
just
great
running
song.
through the fields doing that's such a great song. Never get tired of hearing that one.
But it's the visuals for you.
Yeah.
Goes right away to the visuals.
Yeah, exactly. Because I remember seeing that movie as a kid.
Lauren?
All right, I'm gonna say Run for Your Life off Rubber Soul. No personal connection, I just really like it.
Well, I love the fact that it's so misogynistic and it's a woman-beating song.
That kind of correlates with my values, just like a little bit.
Yeah.
That's not a surprise.
But you would want a man to say...
I like the old school way, yes.
Yeah,
I'm very old school.
You want a jealous man.
I believe in gender roles. A man should be a man, a woman should be a woman.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jealous guy is, solo John Lennon.
Yeah.
Who did that song? I think it was maybe the Crystal. Did He Hit Me?
Oh, yeah, He Hit Me. It felt like a kiss.
Yeah, that's a fucking great line.
Perfect sexist song.
There was an issue because on Sirius XM radios, it cut off. And the title just said, you remember this? Yeah. The title just said, He Hit Me.
He hit me.
So they were trying to figure out a way, because people were complaining, like, oh, what is this song you're playing? Because in parentheses, it felt like a kiss. So it just looked like the Crystals. And then he hit me.
Let me hear this song.
And then he hit me.
That's what the title looked like on radios.
So you like a man like that, a man who's like, what are you doing?
A man could be a man, yeah. Like you're mine.
You want to go, what are you doing talking to Denny? Get the fuck in the car. Get in the fucking car right now. No, don't say goodbye to anybody. He's just walking you out by your neck.
I always like that was one of the opening scenes of Bronx Tale.
Yeah.
Get in the car, Maria.
Let's take a listen to a little bit of the Crystals. I was glad. What was that Anthony song, Something of Love, where he's getting beat up by his boyfriend?
Oh,
and,
yeah, that's such a good...
Fistful of Love or something
like that. Yeah.
Fucking... I guess Lauren's got plenty of songs for her.
And I think that song might have been the inspiration for Mama Said Knock You Out by LL Cool J. Not mistaken.
You know what would be great, Danny? This has got to be your new thing. You have to know exactly where it landed on the charts. So you have to say the number 5 hit for LL Cool J, which probably, by the way, wasn't anywhere near.
No, but it was
top 40. But
yeah, and he said, "Don't call it a comeback."
And yet it was.
Yes, it was.
Hey, Barry, what's up?
Honey, how you doing? The Bentons. I think the Beatles song would be Blackbird, real nice song, and summer song would probably be some jam.
I mean, I would like that song, except for the Tate LaBianca murders. I just felt... that whole album. If they didn't make that album, Charlie Manson would still be free and probably working at a gas station.
Still be free. Is how you took that.
Yeah.
He'd be as free as a bird.
Blackbird. I think Day in the Life for me.
That's
only
perfect.
today. But today's perfect. Today's perfect song. All right.
Saddest Beatles song, She's Leaving Home.
Oh, that song
so
makes me cry like a baby every time.
But see, when I heard that when I was younger, I only got it from her point of view. And I was like, yeah, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
It's only when you get older, you're like, oh my God, those poor... Parents. Where's our baby gone?
I know.
I just always felt it weird that the mother called her husband daddy in the song, and I always get kind of weirded out. Daddy, our baby's gone. And I kind of what is that? What?
See, guys, you only think of daddy as a sexual term, right?
Yes.
Now, what do you think is worse, when you hear a child calling her father daddy, or you're with a lover and she calls you dad? I think that's worse. I don't want... Daddy fuck me is fine, but dad fuck me. No. No. Wrong terminology.
What was that, Bob Seger, Come to Papa?
Yeah, but nothing to do with what we're discussing here.
No.
What about father?
How about Daddy, Don't You Walk So Fast? That's one of the songs we play on Father's Day.
I guess we're moving on to Perfect Daddy song?
He just went... That's one of those songs we play on Father's Day.
Perfect Daddy song?
Yeah.
Winston's Color Him Father. He was the man with the big wide grin.
No, he doesn't get the daddy lingo at all.
Yeah, I like that one. My Dad by Paul Peterson from the Donna Reed Show.
Daddy's Home by Shep and the Limelight.
Oh, good song. Yeah. A couple of versions of that too. Jermaine Jackson and Cliff Richard, the British Elvis.
Cliff Richard, the same person who's up on child porn charges.
Oh,
so I watched the Cliff Richard.
Wait, are you sure?
Cliff Richard?
He was arrested for that. Google it.
You sure?
I thought it was the other
Gary
guy.
Glitter.
Yeah, I thought it was Gary Glitter.
No, it was Cliff Richard.
Now, Cliff Richard was bigger than the Beatles in England, some people say.
He never made it here.
Yeah, never made it here.
Plenty of people don't. No. And I'm looking at you, Oasis. I mean, you're selling theaters here. You're selling Wembley over there.
True.
But there's a lot of bands like that.
Yeah.
And the same way. American bands that can't really play England or Europe, and some of them are much bigger over there.
Yeah, I'm who even knows why it happens that way?
But a lot of the R&B groups, the American R&B groups, they still go there, and they just, people just still love it, because look at all the R&B influence in the British rock and roll.
That's very true.
Stones,
very true.
Stones doing a blues album just because of that.
Well, Stones, let's go for the perfect Stones song of all time. Perfect Stones song. Perfect song by Rolling Stone. Give Me Shelter.
Yeah, that's probably the definitive one, but not my personal one. I think that Give Me Shelter is probably the right answer as far as the most perfect one. But Play With Fire is my personal one.
Your personal perfect song. Danny, where are you going to go with this?
I would either have gone with Miss You, because it's a perfect mix with Do You Think I'm Sexy by Rod Stewart. Okay. But actually the one I like is one that wasn't a single. Two, Stupid Girl and Under My Thumb.
Under My Thumb.
Under My Thumb, not a single?
B-side?
No. Stupid Girl was a B-side of something.
Yeah, Stupid Girl was a B-side.
Under My Thumb could be on the same playlist with the Crystal song.
That was a good song.
That's a great song too.
I'm divided right this minute, and this would change every day too. Moonlight Mile and something that was named after a morning DJ here, Sway. This is their song Sway, which I wish Sway would use as his theme song. I can't get him to do it though.
Is it too off-brand?
I think it is a little off-brand.
That's how you know you made it, when the Rolling Stones write a song about you.
Now, well, I'll tell that to Marianne Faithfull, and she'll feel very good about herself.
Tears Go By.
Tears Go By, which some people say is the first song that Jagger and Richards ever wrote, and they gave it to Marianne Faithfull.
Could be.
No.
Like the Beatles giving songs to Billy J. Kramer.
Yeah.
Mm. And he actually did a version too of Do You Want to Know a Secret?
Is that right?
Yeah. We could do an Under the Covers weekend also.
All right, let's go.
Got a lot of ideas.
I was actually just sitting here thinking, because of the Stones, because they've covered so many songs.
Yeah.
I think Time Is On My Side is their fucking version. It's different because they don't have that guitar lick in it. Mm-hmm. It's like one of those you've completely improved upon the song.
Yeah.
The Irma Thomas version, the original.
Like, I think of that version first. Like, if you the Rolling Stones cover, like if you say that title, that's the version that pops into my head.
Right.
They did a great job with Harlem Shuffle too. And I think the original Harlem Shuffle, Bob and Earl, it's the production that just, was lacking. But they did a good job with that version. How about Dancing in the Streets with David Bowie from Live Aid? Philadelphia.
Terrible. Here's our buddy Pitt Doc. Pitt, what's up?
Hey, Ronnie, you want to talk about a pure poetry from the Stones? If I could stick a knife in my heart and suicide right on the stage. It's only rock and roll.
Yeah.
Not even sure if it's the best song on that album.
Yeah. Only one more. Can I have one more thing, Ronnie?
Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't turn on the radio at 12:01 on Tuesday and hear live Whipping Post, Vito is dead to me.
Well, I have no problem with Vito being dead to you.
All right. Take it easy, Ronnie. Bye.
Yeah, we are off on Monday. Coming up today, 2 p.m. What do we got, Chris?
Demetri Martin, Unmasked.
Nice.
And then tomorrow we're on
Deep Tracks
with our GPS Boston. I'll give that one to Danny. 3 o'clock tomorrow. Your perfect song out of Boston. Any song out of Boston?
Dirty Water, Standells.
Now, are they a Boston band, though? I don't think they were.
But that song was written by Ed Cobb of the Four Preps.
I had no idea that.
Think of the image of the Four Preps.
Yeah.
That kind of, that white, smooth.
Are they out of Boston?
No.
Because I was always curious about that
California
song.
Group. California.
It is a song that never gets old for me.
Yeah, they're from Los Angeles.
I thought
Standells?
I can't get them to play anything today. Your perfect song out of Boston.
Would have to be something from Boston.
Really?
The group Boston. Yeah. Oh, man.
A little rock and roll band.
When I think of Boston, yeah, obviously, but when I think of Boston, I think of Boston.
I never do.
I do.
It never occurs to me that Boston is from Boston.
Yeah.
Never even occurs to me that Boston's a band, if I'm being totally honest.
Great band. Those first couple of albums are solid.
Remember when it took him 30 years before the next album came out with Amanda?
Well, he was busy.
Yeah.
He had yard work to do.
Looking at ovens to purchase?
Yeah.
Ooh.
What about for you, Gail?
It's the song that we open the show with, so I don't want to
you don't want to give it away?
Yes.
Well, just give away the artist.
I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
Give it away.
I already hummed it twice today. Here's Glenn, Nova Scotia.
Buddies, Ronnie, one of the best pop songs of all time. It's got to be Brian Ferry, Roxy Music, Kiss and Tell. It's got the beat, it's got the dance, it's got the sexiness. It's a perfect song.
Boy, I don't even know if that's in my top 10 Roxy Musics.
It's a deep track, buddy, but man, it's a great song.
Yeah. Were we just staying with hits?
Gotta go mainstream top 40.
I know you get upset if we
No.
It's
got a chart.
Maybe we
You're right. It's got a chart in this country too.
Yeah. Maybe
British.
we could do,
Top 20
like the gentleman said, deep tracks. Maybe
you want to do a deep track? What's your favorite deep track?
No, I would have to. I buy albums and listen to the singles.
I know you do.
Yeah.
And I admire that thing that you. I'll say this: you're a slave to the charts.
Yes. Yeah.
You buy the 45?
He buys K-Tel. He waits till K-Tel.
No, because they used to shorten the songs. Mm-hmm. And remember the other label like that too, Adam 8.
The AM radio used to shorten the songs.
They used to, they had the single versions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you just mentioned the Allman Brothers, and there was the single version of Rambling Man, because the longer version, which I think is 4:49, has that, you know, big guitar thing in there.
And you don't want that. You want the big guitar thing.
No.
Kids will turn off if they start to hear those licks.
Well, it's, you know, it was too rough for the pop audience, I think, and plus it was long. So you got to cut it down to 305, as Billy Joel said in The Entertainer. We'll find you at the back of the discount rack.
Well, you actually went deep on Billy Joel there. Now, you're a Billy Joel fan.
Yeah, I like Billy Joel, sure.
What's the perfect Billy Joel song?
Yeah, well, to me, a perfect or favorite is a later song by him, Famous Last Words. You know that one? That's kind of sad because it's like an end of summer song.
Right.
You know, they're packing
and then the end of his career,
song.
92.
Yeah, well, then he decided not to do pop anymore.
Well, he decided not to do anything. He doesn't record.
Right. Well, didn't he do the classical album?
That I don't know.
He did the classical album, you know.
Where he covered or he write new classicals?
I don't know. I'm not too good with classical music.
Now, here's the thing. 1992 is his last album. And now he can go sell out Madison Square Garden once a month for 50 straight weeks.
Right.
It's the craziest career move.
He's a catalog artist. If you notice, Columbia Records still stays with the catalog artists.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, you know, Billy Joel.
Well, but at the time, they were happy to have those guys when they're putting out records.
Sure.
And now it's just like, how can we repackage? Lauren, what's your perfect Billy Joel song?
I guess being from New York, I'd have to say Scenes from an Italian Restaurant.
That one always makes me a little hungry. And,
the painting from Sears reference is amazing. I love that.
I just hate when other DJs play that at a wedding. It's a sad song because after a while, Brenda and Eddie go their separate ways.
And you would never jinx the wedding that way.
No, one guy asked me once to play "Working Class Hero" by John Lennon. I said
I got to get the kids and the grandparents up and dancing.
Unless want me to play it, and when he says the naughty word, I go beep.
Good. Gail, what do you got? Perfect Billy Joel song?
Only the Good Die Young, I guess I would have to say.
Also kind of depressing when you think about it.
I got in trouble once for playing that at a Catholic school dance.
You know what? You're edgy that way, Denny. I give you all the credit in the world.
I remember a priest coming over to me. He was mad about that.
What do you say? Put your penis back in your pants?
No. I didn't bring my bell in here, and I got in trouble for playing "It's Hot in Here." Nelly, take off all your clothes.
Yeah.
And Sexual Healing.
So you're playing Catholic school dances in the last couple of years.
Well, I haven't done that. I'm off that circuit.
I'm going to say Rosalinda's Eyes. Rosalinda's Eyes.
That's a good song.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go deep.
Stiletto.
I know that you like to go deep every once in a while, so I'm going to give you that one.
Yeah, that's a good song. But you see, Billy Joel was like one of those artists where, like the Beatles, you knew every song on the album. There were certain songs.
Well, that would be true of a lot of bands if you bought the album.
Right. Well,
not all of us just picked it up. Skipped over, listened to the singles.
Zeppelin was like
By the way, did you used to pretend you were a DJ before you were, like when you were a kid?
Oh, yeah. I used to have a Wollensack reel-to-reel recorder. And I used to tape the songs and the jingles off the radio. So then I could, talk and hit the jingle and hit the record and everything.
That is the
How old were you when you were doing that?
42.
But no, really, how old do you remember?
I guess, 10 years old and 8 years old. My parents bought me that little Wollensack, I'll never forget. And it had the little reels on there. The little reels.
Were they concerned or did they think you might have a job?
No, I was just up in my room doing that, playing the rock and roll music loud.
That is the cutest thing I've ever heard. That's so adorable.
Yeah, I just,
you know what? I even brought that up because it's true of a lot of guys who worked in that field that I've heard from other guys.
Really?
That when they were little, they would front sell while they were listening to the radio. They would, do all that stuff. They were just crazy about that. They wanted to be big boss jocks.
Yeah.
That was their dream.
Because I used to tape the songs off the radio, and then I would go to the record store and buy them.
Yeah.
And you used to have all the 45s on the wall, and you say, "Give me number 8," and that would be like Wilson Pickett or something.
Now, Lauren, when you think about your own childhood, when you used to hide under the bed when your dad came home, was that? No, you said you were a daddy's girl.
I love my dad. He's great.
Yeah.
He's my best friend.
What do you call him, Dad or Daddy?
I call him Dad.
Oh, thank God.
After a certain age, Daddy becomes creepy.
Oh, it does.
Doesn't it, Daddy?
When your mother refers to him, does she say Daddy will be home at 8 o'clock? No, my wife
Your dad.
says.
She'll say that?
My wife will just say your father.
Yep.
Yeah. Your father will be home.
You were telling me one day you couldn't pick your kids out of lineup. Why is that? Just too dedicated to rock? Just too much music for you?
No, I can.
Did you always try to get them into, top 40 trivia?
When my wife was pregnant with my daughter, we went to Radio City Music Hall to see Chicago. And we had pretty good seats, because in the biz you used to get free things back
there was
then.
nobody else there.
And they had, no, they were rocking. And with that horn section, and my daughter was just kicking.
Yeah.
So we knew that she loved music.
Chicago was always the favorite band of kids that were in high school band.
You couldn't get away from them because of the horn set. You couldn't get away from them on the radio back in the 70s.
Yeah.
They always
and
had
80s.
hits. Yeah.
They had a very big 80s career.
Yeah. I like a Chicago song, Alive Again.
Yeah.
It just builds.
Yeah.
It's a great record.
He's crazy.
And it had so many posts that you could just talk up. Now, do you still do that in the car? Like when a record comes on, do you introduce it and talk it up and do stuff like that? I still do that.
I don't do that even when I'm on the radio. I just go, here's a bunch of hits.
I do that. Matter of fact, we used to be driving with a bunch of buddies of mine. They'd be listening to the songs, and I would, once the song started, I would change it. He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I want to hear the DJs on the radio." We used to love to do that.
Hey, Matt in DC. Matt.
Hello, everybody. My favorite pop song of all time, and I think it's a perfect pop song, is Todd Rundgren's "Hello, It's Me." I think it still stands up today.
He kind of raised Liv Tyler for a lot of years, and then when Liv was she was in here, I asked her what her favorite, and she said, "Hello, It's Me."
Oh.
And I'm like, you don't even go deep.
Like, we gotta get you a woman.
We gotta get you a woman. I asked fucking Daryl Hall for Hall Notes to cover that. I think that would be the perfect Hall Notes song. But that's the first song I remember hearing by Todd Rundgren, who I still think is amazing.
Yeah. No, well, he did Hello, It's Me twice because he did it with Runt.
Yeah.
His first group.
Sam, Omaha. Perfect summer song.
Hey, how's it going, Ronnie? Big fan.
Thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to say the best summer song is Huey Lewis and the News. This is it.
Because they were walking on the beach in the video? Yeah.
Oh, man, I saw it when I was a kid, and ever since then, every time I hear it, no matter what time of day, what time of year, it's just immediately.
Anytime I hear that song, I go, how did this ever get on the radio?
That's a great record. That's a good song. It's like the gentleman said, it's just got that
You
feel.
never disagree with the charts. You never disagree with the hits.
Right. I mean, it's a hit.
Is there ever been a circumstance where you're like, I have no idea why this is a
I
hit?
hate this hit, you say.
The song I never ever cared for was He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. And being on, and I know it's such a sensitive song, and I would always have people, guy would call up, my brother-in-law Charlie died yesterday. So your first thing to do is call a radio station and request that song?
Well, you know where the title comes from, right? It was a muscular dystrophy kid, right? So he's walking along and his brother picks him up, and the reporter says to him, who's this, blah, blah, blah. And he says, is he heavy? And the brother says, he ain't heavy, he's my brother. Right. And then they wrote that song.
Right.
So if you really think of that circumstance, but, as I get it, it is a pretty...
It was a reach, but I do understand it.
Yeah.
And, it's just a...
What do you mean it's a reach?
He ain't heavy, he's my brother.
Well, is he heavy? He ain't heavy.
It's not his name.
He's my brother.
Yeah. That's okay.
Kids say stupid things. Daddy, you know this. I mean, you look at you. You're in the same age. Instead of carrying your brother around, you're up to everybody. The Daddy Show coming out was bad, bro. What was the Platters doing on here?
You know what's a good thing that you should always start your show with on Friday?
What's that?
You ought to be real proud of yourself because you made it to the weekend. So reach around and slap yourself on the back because Friday is here.
Yeah. Did you always have that? Everybody's working for the weekend thing that you would do?
5 o'clock whistle?
Yeah. The old Q105, Tuki.
Yeah. And then you take this job and shove it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always hated when a disc jockey would say, I'm out of here. It's like he didn't like being there.
Right. What do you say? I'm still here.
No,
I wish I wasn't leaving you.
I always liked a closing thing. Like my closing thing I used to use all the time was, hey, next time we get together, I'll bring the coffee. No need for the sugar because you're sweet enough.
And you couldn't keep a job in this business. They kept kicking you around from market to market, station to station.
David Bowie, Station to Station. That's a great song. I like TVC-15 from that album too.
Right.
Wild as the Wind was on. That was a good record.
But we had a lot of hits.
Yeah, we had a lot of hits.
Yeah. You really did.
I like Young Americans.
Let's just go Suffragette City. Let's just keep saying names of Bowie songs.
Yeah.
Now, you got into the business what year?
1979.
1979, the end of disco.
Well, yeah.
You kind of
I played it in college. I was on college radio.
Okay.
And actually, the first song I played, and I told him when he came up here, Nile Rodgers, was "I Want Your Love" by Chic. Chic, I want your love. Now give me your purse.
That's
that was
great.
the DJ Fun.
What's the perfect disco song?
Perfect disco song. I mean, the second people hear "Staying Alive," it just takes you right there.
Oh,
but then
that's
again,
a really good one. The perfect disco song.
Then again, the hustle just had that whole build because of the orchestration there. You listen to any Salsoul record out of Philadelphia, just the orchestration.
Yeah. I would actually go back to Chic and say "Freak Out," which
it's a great one. Yeah,
that was a song that even people who hated disco, and a lot of people did, they still like that song. What do you got, Lion?
Well, for a disco song?
Perfect disco song.
I would say "If I Can't Have You."
Oh my God, that was my answer.
It's a really great song.
Oh my God,
that's perfect. Yeah.
That is my absolute most favorite disco song.
But I'm gonna. I also love Donna Summer.
MacArthur Park.
Dim All the Lights. Dim All the Lights is a fucking unbelievably great song. They could have made it as a soul song.
Donna Summer's incredible.
Incredible.
Like, she is so damn good.
And she didn't need disco at all. I mean, she literally could have been with Philly International doing those songs, or she could have been with Motown. She was amazing.
Well, and the song she did with Streisand too, "No More Tears," that starts out real slow.
But that was at the end of her career, right?
That was
right as she was finding Jesus and ruined everything.
Yeah. She had a lot of good songs, though, Donna.
So you DJ'd all through high school, and then all through college, and then started your job on air.
And I still do the mobile entertainment on the weekends, Because you always needed a fallback job in case you ever got fired.
But in case.
And I had 6 times. So. Yeah. You get those guys.
Were they all format switches, or did you,
we're heading in another direction. You get that, and, we're looking to go with some fresh blood. I said, well, I'm only here a year.
Right.
But new general manager would come in, they always bring their own people.
Right.
So what are you going to do? You pack up, you go home, have a cold one, and start sending out some resumes.
Just hats on.
They
seem like big stars. When I see somebody in a big hat like that, I'm like, they're pretty big stars.
They're important.
Big hat.
All right, we got to wrap this up, Denny. It means you got to get out of here so there's not a crossover.
Yeah. Got a good weekend song?
Yeah, give us a weekend song.
Weekend, what, Willie? That is a deep one, right?
That is deep.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Do what you want to do.
What's your weekend song?
Come back. Well, let's come back to that on me.
Okay.
Let's go with Gail.
Yeah, like
I got mine
Saturday
right now.
Night Fever.
Yeah. Mine is Smoke on the Water. I'm just leave it at that.
Saturday in the Park, of course.
You know what?
Also,
Denny's never had a chance to do a live read in front of us.
Oh, I would love to hear that.
For Tito's Vodka. And this is just completely cold. Let's see how you can pull off a live read. You need a pair of eyes over there? You can do it. I think your arm's long enough?
Tito's Handmade Vodka is American's original craft vodka. Back in 1995, Tito Beverage, that's his real name, had the idea of building his own micro distillery, incorporating, get this, the boutique winery concept into the spirit industry. He acquired the first legal permit to distill in Texas. Bet you didn't know that. And he put his life saving into it, racking up 19 credit cards to build his own copper pot stills and condensers. Now, since then, he's been awarded a 95 rating by wine enthusiasts. He's won the unanimous Judges' Choice double gold medal at the World Spirit Competition and the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic and many others. Now, it's got a modest paper label on a simple bottle, so all you pay for is the exceptional handmade vodka right inside. Tito still makes his vodka by hand on the same land where he started it all back in Austin, Texas. Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled 6 times from 100% corn and is naturally gluten-free. Visit Tito. See, I never say us because I'm not a part of it, so you should always say visit Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, songs, and more. 40% alcohol by volume, handcrafted to be savored responsibly.
So you wouldn't read it the way the sponsor wants you to read it. You would read it your way.
Well, because it's not us. I don't, it's, unless I was being, a spokesman.
This is why you ended up getting fired 6 times.
I got fired once because I was because they were playing a Trojan Ed's commercial. We were working on an oldie station, and all of a sudden, I wrapped up the show, and you hit the spot, and Trojan Ed's, Trojan Man, because you know what those were? Those were spots that you had to play to get national buys.
Right.
And I walked into the general manager, and I said, I will not have that on my radio station. She goes, okay. I will not have you. A week later, I was gone.
Oh, because of a rubber. Really, I mean, I'm sure you sold a lot of legal speed over the years.
No. Stuff like that.
That was always a big thing in top 40 radio forever.
Stack or two?
Yeah, some kind of stack or two type stuff to get you speeding, moving around.
Well, that was once they opened up, people just had to, radio at one time did have some morals about what they, I worked at a lot of radio stations sell strip joints, but we did have alcohol. You had especially rock stations. You always got that big summer buy for alcohol,
Well,
we got to get together when I share some air checks. And you like jingles? You into radio jingles?
That's all I ever think about.
Oh man, I got
reel to reel. Of course,
I got reel to reel jingles.
They call me the Kingle. All right, I got coming up. It's Unmasked
with Demetri Martin.
And check us out, GPS Boston this weekend.
GPS Boston airs 3 p.m. East on Deep Tracks Channel 27.
Denny and Lauren down the hall. Thank you guys so much. So fun having you on the air.
Thank you.
Right back with Unmasked. Bennington. Demetri Martin.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Good to see you, buddy.
It's that good clapping style that makes it sound more crowded. Yeah.
And congratulations, because just pulling off writing and making a movie, it's an amazing thing.
Thank you. Yeah, it was hard. I should act like it wasn't that hard, but it was terrible.
It is.
I had a rough time. It was hard.
I don't think, when I would love to say I made a movie, but I definitely don't want to make a movie.
Yeah, I feel like that about a lot of things in life, I think,
Yeah.
I want the accomplishment, but the process can be really tough. Yeah, it was cool. I'm a movie fan, I'm a stand-up fan first, I think, and I got into stand-up to do stand-up, but along the way I got some ideas that weren't stand-up stuff, so one of them, I had a couple ideas that were kind of more higher concept, I guess, and I thought, maybe I could make this movie or that, but I sold scripts, I sold the ideas. They gave me money, but they never made the movies, so eventually I realized, all right, I got to just come up with a small idea that I can actually make into a movie. I got to write the script thinking I'm going to actually shoot this. And that's what I did from the beginning with this one. So I got the money. It wasn't a lot, but I was able to make the movie.
But it's what surprised me is I was expecting something different, right? I was expecting, I don't know, something like a little more surreal or wall-to-wall jokes, but it reminded me of the kind of comedies that people used to make, like a very early Albert Brooks type of film, No,
I'll take that as a compliment for sure, because I'm an Albert Brooks fan, a Woody Allen fan, and Hal Ashby, Mike Nichols, Alexander Payne.
Yeah.
It's kind of more grounded. It's a kind of an emotional story, I guess you'd say. So it's a comedy, but it's kind of a dramedy. It's not wall-to-wall jokes and there's no high concept to it. It's kind of simple in a way.
Well, the concept is the human condition, which we're all dealing with. Like everybody who sees this movie was going to have this happen in their life.
Yeah, it's about losing someone. I lost my dad when I was 20. He got cancer when he was 44. He died when he was 46. My mom was widowed at 41. But it's not, I like writing jokes about balloons and chairs and stuff like that. It's not, my comedy doesn't usually deal with, I just like jokes. But when it came time to make a movie, I thought I should talk about something emotional, maybe something that I've dealt with. It's fiction. I mean, the story has nothing to do in any direct way with my life. It's not like, hey, this is what happened to me, I made a movie out of it. It's more like, okay, I've experienced loss, and my family went through a grieving process, and I don't know, it's non-linear. It's weird. It's surprising when you lose someone, how it's over 20 years now since I lost my dad, but it's still you know, you can have a day, if anyone in this room has lost someone, 10 years after the person's gone, you can have a day that's as bad as like a week after they died. It's just like, you kind of think you're better, and then you just never get over it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Especially when there's always, like, either there's an accomplishment you wish you could share, or just another life thing.
Yeah.
Like, here's a baby, or.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, I have 2 kids now, and when my son was born, my first child, especially the first one, I felt the absence, you know, just, you're like, wow, he's never going to know him. And, I can't show, you know, you get these weird fantasies where you're like, if I could just talk to my dad for an hour, half an hour, like, what could you cover in 30 minutes with someone who.
But you know what else is interesting is, like, when you were little, you didn't realize the adults were missing somebody. You're like, here's reality. We're all here at Thanksgiving.
Right.
But as only as you get older, you're like, oh, this Thanksgiving has changed so much.
Yeah.
Over the years.
And holidays are weird because they're designed, well, I don't know if they're designed, but the point often seems to celebrate and get together, and it's supposed to be a happy time. But then when you lose someone, it's like, those hurt even more.
Yeah.
And like graduation, all those kind of milestones, then they just sting. It just kind of sucks.
Just lays there.
This is audio, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny. They sent me a groomer.
Yes.
Like, I am wearing makeup. I'm wearing makeup right now to do this interview. My hair is like in my eye because they put stuff in my hair. I'm like, what is happening? I mean, why am I groomed for radio? This is ridiculous.
They were worried that you looked a little pale, I think, just as a person.
It's such a close quarters, like he's dying, so we should clean him up a little bit. It's like, it just dawned on me. I don't know what I'm doing today that I need to be groomed. I'm a comedian. How much grooming do I need anyway?
I had no idea.
I saw Demetri. He looked very clean.
I think it's because they did the still pictures of you. I don't know. That might have been
I guess they groomed me for the photos out there.
Yeah. But so you were looking around for cameras this whole time.
No,
like,
I wasn't.
It's
just that, you know what? I had a hair in my eye while I was giving an answer, and I'm like, why is there a hair in my eye? And I was like, because they put shit in my hair. It's like matted down or whatever, you know? And I'm like, well, why'd they put shit in my hair? And while I'm talking, I'm thinking this. You know how your brain just leaves? I'm just like, where am I going here? I was like, oh, because I'm on camera, because that's when I started looking around the room. That guy is looking at me. Hey, how's it going?
Well, I wanted to also talk to you about your soundtrack to this, because all kind of new artists, right, in this soundtrack, or
kind of, but well, the main artist had one solo album in 1970. Wow, so he's kind of unknown. Yeah, it's called Into Your Ears is his album, and the artist is named Pete Dello. It's actually on iTunes. You can find the album. And I think there's a re-release. I know it's coming out on vinyl and, I don't know, CD or whatever. But yeah, he did one solo album in 1970, and I don't know if there are 5, 6 songs in the movie from that album. He had a band called Honey Bus before that, a late 60s band in England. He's English. But I had this CD, I don't know, for the last decade or something. And when I went to edit my movie, I was trying different music against the scenes. But the budget was so small. We don't have a music budget. You can end up spending a lot of money on music if you're going to get like a Rolling Stones song or Paul Simon or something. Like, it's expensive. You can't just get those songs. So I didn't know what I was going to do for music, but I liked this artist so much. I just said, let me try these songs. And I found his email address. He's still alive, and he lives in the UK. And I emailed him.
I bet he could not believe that somebody.
Yeah, I know. I think
you did in 1970. I know. Can I use it now?
I know. I think he was just kind of like, all right. I think he's a professor now. Like he's kind of out of music, or I don't think he's performing. So he seemed to not care in a good way, and he was very gracious, generous about it. So he said, sure, yeah, you can talk to this guy, and they gave us the songs for very little money.
And that's amazing. I had no idea that story when I asked that question, but you are a fan of, we were talking about the Beatles on the way in here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of an era that you're.
Yeah, I love the Beatles, and I think late 60s, early 70s music I really love it. Lately I've been really into Bob Dylan, which of course I have tons of Dylan albums, but I travel a lot, like a lot of comedians. I'm basically a traveling salesman. It's weird when you do stand-up and you get what you want. You get traveling salesman. That's what you end up with, is fly here, fly there, rent the car. If you're Seinfeld or Kevin Hart or whatever, I'm sure you have a jet or something, but not me, man. I'm JetBlue is the closest I get to jet. So yeah, I got my iPod and I'm just kind of living in my own head with music. So I still love Cat Stevens. I just listen to a lot of the old music. It's earnest. There's a warmth to it, you know. There's plenty of new music that's great. I've just fallen behind now because I have a couple kids and I'm tired. I don't have the time to do shit like that. You know what I mean?
The hunting for music, it is there, but you have to go out and look for it.
Yeah, I used to when I lived in New York. I felt like I found a lot of music that I still like, but when I go back, the Beatles I'm always safe with, you know. It's always going to be great.
Well, that's the thing that these, you know, and I was just talking to Little Steven the other day about this, because it's 50 years since Sgt. Pepper, and he was there, and he goes, could you imagine in 1967 if we were listening to music from 1917? It would be insane,
That's
right? But this, you know, Pat Sounds was just...
What an incredible time. And I've read tons of stuff about the Beatles and the Beach Boys. And one of the books I read, I don't even know if it was a Beatles book per se, but I remember reading this one author talking about when Sgt. Pepper's came out, he was driving across the country with his girlfriend or something, and everybody was playing the album. Because back then, of course, there were fewer media outlets, and I think in a lot of ways it was easier to feel united to the culture.
Yes, you were connected.
So everywhere they drove, people were playing that record, and you just heard it in different restaurants and stores and stuff.
Well, you know, I've had so many of the classic rock guys, you know, all the American and British classic rock guys. And it always comes to this, I was 13 years old, and I'm like, yeah, here comes the Ed Sullivan story. Because they all had the exact same experience. That's so hard to do now. You know what I mean? There's
definitely.
not...
It's got to be so surreal to be Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Or anybody who was in the Beatles. Or just, I can't even imagine it. It's got to be weird to accomplish something when you're 20 years old.
Yeah.
That sticks. You're like one of the most famous people in the world. And nothing you ever do, in a sense, will top that.
Sure.
He could, like, shoot the president or something. And
we're just saying theoretically, because this is the Trump years.
That's right.
It's kind of top of mind for everybody.
But it would say Beatles shoots.
Yes,
Beatles shoots clown or something. You know?
Well, I had heard Paul's or somebody who knows Paul say this, that he has, whenever he meets people, he knows like 2 minutes before he gets into what he wants. So, like if there's a plumber or something he needs, he has 2 minutes of just letting that person go crazy before he goes, okay, great. Now I need my
what
toilet
a weird
looked
life.
at. Yeah.
That's such a weird life.
Yeah. But that kind of, that music connection, I believe, is in your film, you know, that you're looking for that kind of feeling.
For sure, that was important to me. I love Hal Ashby, and if you think of Harold and Maude, if anybody knows that movie, I'm assuming you guys haven't seen the movie, so some of this is probably not making sense, but it's, in Harold and Maude, Cat Stevens is kind of the musical backbone of that movie, and you hear his voice, it recurs, you know? So I liked that idea. And so in my own way, I tried to do something similar.
I didn't even think about that because I didn't know that this was the one guy. But of course, Mike Nichols did that with The Graduate
Simon and Garfunkel,
as well. And it's always funny to me that it's not attempted more.
Yeah, I know. I like it. I think there's power in simplicity if you can do it. You know, I mean, I had constraints because the budget was so low, and I didn't have a lot of time to shoot the movie. And it's funny. I think there's an impulse to explain or complain, but I shouldn't because I got to make a movie, and I should look at it more like, hey, wow, I finally got to make a movie. But I think you have the fantasy in your head when you make something of what you think it could be, and that's also what drives you to do it because you have these ideas. Oh, I'm going to do this and that, and then you get there, and it's just reality is, you know, it's a whole different bag. You're like, whoa.
And you always have this image in your mind that they really said to Francis Ford Coppola, oh my God, this script, this cast, great. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Where you have to hear that even these films, they had to fight the whole way.
Yeah.
Or people say to Marty Scorsese, no, you're bad at making movies. You're like, what?
Yeah.
You know, it happens to everybody.
One time I got to be in an Ang Lee movie that took place in the 60s years ago. And I was in an airport during the edit. While I was editing this movie, I was still doing stand-up. I was going on the road. So I was at LAX. And I just got my laptop back from security or whatever, putting it in my bag, and I hear, Demetri. And I look up, and it's Ang Lee. He's like going through the airport. Ang, hey! So it's like, hey, good to see you. We hug. And then he walked me to my gate with his assistant. This guy was traveling with him. And I said, I made a movie, and he's like, oh, that's great, you know. I said, what about you? He's like, I'm trying to set up my next movie. I can't get the money. I was like, you can't get the money?
Yeah.
Doesn't Aang have 2 Oscars for Best Director?
Yeah.
It's like, man, brutal world.
He should go in wearing them like earrings and just be, now let me pitch you this film.
That's a really funny idea. Yeah.
But they don't go, oh my God, Ang Lee's here. What check can we write for you?
Yeah.
He's got to battle like it's the first time they've heard from him.
You gotta hustle, you gotta sell yourself.
Was that so helpful to you when you were directing to think, okay, I've made films with Soderbergh or Ang Lee? Or...
Definitely.
Yeah.
And specifically those 2 guys, the first thing I ever got to be in, I've been in 7 things maybe, it's not like a big list, but I was in Analyze That. I had 2 lines. The first thing I ever got to do was Analyze That. My scene was with Robert De Niro, which was nuts. I'm not a trained actor. I never had an acting class, never had a scene partner. So the first thing I ever did was with De Niro. Now, I had 2 lines, but still, it was crazy. And Harold Ramis was the director, so it was great. I got to work with Harold Ramis and Ang Lee, Steven Soderbergh. Yeah, I think back, by the time I got to be in the Ang Lee movie, I knew I wanted to make movies. I also knew it would be hard to get that done, but I thought, let me pay attention when I'm on the set and see like what lenses he's choosing with the DP and how he works with the actors. And the Woodstock movie had a lot of background actors, and so, you know, there'd be some shots were deep. There'd be a family over here in a weird VW, you know, van driving through that part of the shot. So he'd compose the shot. It was cool to watch him start way back. If it were a circle, he's like way out on the kind of perimeter or whatever. And then he's coming in closer and closer, smaller and smaller radius. And then the actors are like the last 2 things he's composing with, being like, you stand here, you know, don't pass this line. I want to see that in the background. Stuff like that. I was like, oh, this is cool.
It would never have dawned on me. It would never, what you're telling me is the first time I've ever thought, oh, yes, he has that entire
composition. Yeah, it's crazy. Same here. I was just looking at it and it made me think more visually.
Yeah.
Spatially. And then when you add movement to it, depending on what you want to do, it's really cool. It's just so exciting to get to make a movie and to make those kinds of creative choices. I love stand-up, but it's a different medium. It's, you know, it's just a whole different thing. It's very verbal. You can be visual in stand-up, and I try sometimes, but I don't know, there's something just very presentational and verbal about stand-up. And I think my favorites, you know, Richard Pryor is just one of the all-time greats, right? And he does paint you pictures, and he does become characters, but it's still like a play.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a verbally created visual environment, I guess you'd say.
And here, when you're doing a film, like, always the thing is show us, you know, don't tell us.
Yeah.
So it's the exact opposite of comedy, where you really want to tell a story that captures people. You have to have an internal life in a film.
I think so, yeah. And it's weird when you write a script, because if anybody here writes, you know, you write a script or a play, I imagine, but you write the script and you want to get actors to say, yes, I'll do that part. And you want people to give you money to make the movie and everything. So you're writing the script, and it's a sales tool in a sense. In its first incarnation, you're just trying to turn it into something else. So you can write these long paragraphs of description and action, but nobody reads that shit. Nobody, even when I get a script, your brain just skips to, as the actor, at least for me, if I get a script, I skip to the parts that I'm supposed to be playing, you know, my lines. And I look, okay, do I have to be naked? Do I have to cry? I just say, what's going to take me out of this? And I'm like, okay, cool, I can do all this stuff. But I'm skipping over whatever, the guy walks in the room. But a lot of times that's the movie, is the visual stuff that happens, because it's a visual medium, but it's hard to sell that and to translate that onto paper. People have to trust you, especially as a first-time director. Be like, I have a gag here, I have an idea. I didn't want to write it all out in the script, but we're going to do this, and, you know, trust me, we don't have to speak for this part.
Well, as you're writing it, and then you make this movie in your head, I guess, as you're writing it along, but then you get this tremendous cast, and you've got amazing people in this. How does that change?
Yeah, I got Kevin Kline to be in my movie, which is great. He plays my dad in the movie. So that classed it up. That made it like a real movie. And Mary Steenburgen plays the realtor. Not a big role, but she's in the movie. And Gillian Jacobs, who's done all kinds of stuff. We shot this a while ago, so I actually shot this before the Love series, before the Apatow thing. But now people are like, oh, you saw her in Love. I was like, no, I knew her from other stuff. But yeah, and Rory Scovel, who's a comic.
Great.
He's great. Reed Scott's great. And, you know, it's kind of an ensemble, so some of the folks don't have tons of screen time, but I feel like I tried to make every part interesting.
Yes.
So that good actors would want to be in the movie, you know? And I think for the most part it worked out. I got lucky for sure that Kevin Kline responded to the script because I don't know him. It wasn't like I could call him up and say, hey, what do you think?
Right.
But my agent got the script to him and he read it and he liked it enough, so he agreed to have lunch with me. And I live in California now, so I flew to New York to eat with him.
Well, the thing about Kline is, like, you can see in him what Dean doesn't, right? You can see his heartbreak, and then he doesn't do a lot. Like, he just is a guy who has lost his wife. And the person I think that's last to pick up on that is the other person suffering, the child. It's just heartbreaking to look at him.
Yeah, I think my experience in life has been with my family, and we're a bunch of Jersey Shore kind of Greek immigrant. It's a pile of Greek people in New Jersey, but still, we're like anybody else. And I think, I don't know, there's a lot of times we don't know how to verbalize what we're going through, and you don't even know yourself sometimes, I think, how to even put into words what your problem is or what the thing is. And then at least in terms of making choices as an actor or a director, I like understatement. I'm a big fan of a little bit less.
Right.
Than big, showy, you know. You know, if you're on the subway and you see somebody like kind of crying or something's happened, you don't want to look. It's private, but it's interesting and what's going on. But I noticed they're not usually like screaming, I'm upset, you know. It's the struggle to not cry. It's the struggle we have for privacy sometimes in a public domain, even with people we love. I think that there's something powerful in that.
Well, I've always had this theory that the best films, even comedies, start with a man in a light depression. You know what I mean? Like, he's just muddling his way through, and you know a change is coming because this is a movie. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So obviously there's going to be two other acts. But when you start at that place where a guy who's just in trouble.
And definitely, and I know you mean this in the general sense, but I think of Bridesmaids.
Yes.
So let's see, like, an analog for women that to me is one of my favorite comedies. It was on TV in one of my hotel rooms recently, and I was like, I love Kristen Wiig. I'm a huge fan. And I think that fits what you're talking about too. She's got to, you know, she's working through something here. But there's real comedy rooted in, I think, real emotion.
Right.
Like, the laughs are earned in those kinds of movies.
Yes.
It's not just jokes, which I love. I love jokes. But I wasn't in the mood to do that for the first time around. I wanted to see, I guess, if I could give the actors a little more to sink their teeth into. So it wasn't just jokes.
Well, Paul Feig he's got these movies that got tons of jokes in them, but they are real people.
There's
and that's
heart.
Yeah, and that's where we went back with Woody Allen and Albert Brooks.
Yeah.
Those films that they did, which were, you know, one guy muscling it through the way that you did. I've got an idea. I'm going to walk it around town. I'm going to get people. I'm going to paint the sets. And those films stay with us 40, 50 years after.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both. I've been lucky enough to get to know Albert Brooks a little bit since moving to California, and he's such a funny person. Like, he really is funny in his bones, that guy. It's like, it's really interesting. He's just different, you know. He's really, I don't know, it's just cool. And I'm a fan, but I've learned when you meet people in showbiz, if you're a fan of them and then you end up at dinner parties with them and stuff, you just have to be cool. You can't.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't ask him about Modern Romance every time I see him. I got to just like take what I can get. If he mentions something, I'm like, oh yeah, I think I've seen that. Yeah, I know your movie. I've seen it. You know, and you want to be like, but when you did this, did you? Yeah. So you just like play it cool, you know.
But that is true. Like, you never get past, as somebody, particularly if you liked them when they were younger, you never get past that freaked out feeling
it's true.
inside.
And then if you're, and I actually got to see his films a little bit later. But I don't know for everybody here, but for me, things that I liked when I was 12 and 13, 14, around there, now you're talking about stuff that's just seared into your brain.
Yeah.
Now it's like a weird child, developmental, you know. So you meet those people. Yeah. Now that's even weirder, because now you're really losing your shit and trying to be, you know. Because I think it's such a nice impulse to be like, you changed my life, and it's so sincere. But showbiz is weird, because those people have, like you were saying about McCartney, I'm sure,
it happens
the 600th time somebody says that to them, it's just hard to be a human being about it. and sincerely be like, thank you so much. I'm sure they are grateful, but they're just like, yeah, no, I've heard it. I can't imagine when you're like, when you've actually moved people like that.
Well, that's what's funny about New York too, where people just give you like a nudge and you look over and it's Woody Allen.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yeah, I saw.
Yeah, leave the guy alone. Yeah. I know.
But you still have that feeling, oh, my God, what street is this? This is the street from Annie Hall. And there's Woody walking.
Right. What's funny for me is like, I never quite got famous, like legitimately. So I'm like under mild surveillance is like the level I've been at for quite a while. Yeah. And I'm not chasing the fame thing. So I'd rather, and now I have kids. It's cool. I'd rather just be anonymous. It's fine. But every now and then, like I had a flight, an LA, New York flight. We land and the guy I've been sitting next to the whole time turns to me and says, I love your show. I'm a big fan of, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, hey, thank you so much. And I'm thinking, fucker, you got to tell me that at the beginning of the flight. Did I fart? Did I pick my nose? Like, let me know you were keeping tabs on me. Yeah. This wasn't balanced here. Do you know what I mean? If you're Brad Pitt, it's a different game.
Right.
He gets on the plane, everybody say, hey, I'm Brad Pitt. They're like, hey, there's Brad Pitt. Okay, cool. He knows he's kind of on. I'm just some other dude. And then it's just like, oh man, come on. You fall asleep, they take a picture of you and shit.
And I think that does happen to people all the time.
I saw a guy doing a selfie thing. He's like across the aisle up a little bit, and I saw him framing the shot with me in the background. I'm like, come on, asshole. I'm just doing my drawings. And I look up in his shot, and he's like, moves it over. Who's taking selfies on a plane? I mean, I guess people are crazy. I don't know.
The rollout for this is June 2nd.
June 2nd.
Yeah. How are they going to do it? Is it in New York and LA first? Or?
It's in 12 cities the first weekend, and then every weekend they add a few more until it's like in 160 theaters around the country, which is cool.
Now, being a comic, it's one way to deal with the audience, but through this process, I guess you're sitting in the audience, watching yourself with the audience.
Yeah.
Right?
Only a couple times. I've avoided it for sure. It's too...
It's too strange.
Yeah. I got to see my nose from angles I never want to see. And to watch that with the crowd, I'm just like, I know what this is about. I had to deal with the edit. The first couple times it was very educational, but I can't change. After it's locked, you can't change it.
Right.
It'd be interesting if you could bring a microphone and sit in the audience. When jokes somewhere, you'd be like, hold on, you got to understand. We didn't get the location we wanted. Like, this is actually very good for what I had to work with. You must understand. You're not allowed to do that. So yeah, it's different. Stand-up, there's some, at least illusion of control because you can change, you can improvise. I can just bail on a whole section of material. But yeah, this is like locked and loaded and off it goes. And for the kind of comedy that you're doing, you can't save jokes if it's hurting the movie. Like some movies, if you're just throwing a ton of jokes at it, it's one thing, but. That's true, yeah, because it's really, I think, the kind of core of the movie is this father-son relationship. The two guys have lost the same person. My character's mom has passed away, I don't know, about a year maybe before the story takes place. So I wanted to make sure that story resonated and felt like a real situation and that those guys were feeling real things. And then I hoped I could get jokes to work with that, but not ever sacrifice the story for the jokes and not have that kind of tail wag the dog in that sense. Even though the comedian in me wants to get the joke to work and go for the joke, the storyteller and the aspiring filmmaker in me is thinking, all right, I want to learn how to tell stories and write good parts for actors so I can make a bunch of these things. And then if I'm lucky, I can make one that's more of a comedy, make one that's more of a drama, and someday write a female lead, or I'm not in the movie at all, or write a story about two women and try to see how to tell that story. Write stories for people of color. I mean, it's mostly white. It's a white dude with his white friends. You start kind of with what you know. Not that I don't have friends who aren't white, but it is funny how insular our lives can be depending on where you grew up and stuff and where you end up. But yeah, it's exciting to think about writing for someone with a different sexual orientation. I don't have that experience, but as soon as you get into trying to write for other people, empathy becomes a really big part of what you're doing. Yeah. Stand-up doesn't teach you that, really. I try to observe and relate and stuff, but I'm writing for myself. I'm up there, I'm just trying to get my jokes to work, and I hope the crowd doesn't heckle me or whatever, get through it. And I want to relate to people, but it's not the same as trying to write a scene where you want the woman to sound like a real woman and not like a dude who is writing what he thinks women say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might sound trivial, but it's,
No, I agree 100%.
As soon as you try to do it, it's a different reality. And it's very humbling because I don't have those experiences.
But I thought that with Gillian Jacobs, we find out that she's kind of in her own movie.
Yeah.
That there's like a cross from two, but we could have easily followed her on her path because she was a real person.
I tried hard to do that, and I think it's important for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
And it only helps you if you're the filmmaker, because then you have a richer story, and I think you have better characters. So it's not so purely altruistic, but I do think it just seems like it makes sense if you can do that and think that way. I remember thinking when I was writing the script, any script I wrote, I thought this, but this one I really felt like I'm going to make this movie. So everything became much more tangible. And one of the ideas I had was, okay, no matter how small the part is, I want to write each character in a way that would make an actor excited to do that part.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have 2 lines, I still want them to think, I'm going to put this on my reel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm a doctor who just has 2 lines, well, is he a smart-ass doctor? Did he just get in a fight with his wife? Like, what's the story here? He's still a human being, rather than just saying the 2 lines and off he goes.
Well, there are, I think, 2 actors that jump out to me, and both of them are women. Kate Berland, who's an excellent comic, but the scene with her is almost, if we did this years ago, you'd almost put like John Candy in that scene. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're going to put that bigger than life scene stealer there. How did that come together? Because that's like a short in the middle of your movie.
Yeah. So Kate Berlant, if you don't know, is a comedian. She did an episode of a show called Characters on Netflix.
She's amazing.
She's really great. She's very inventive, super smart, a great improviser. I have a lot of respect for people who are really good at improv. People who, they seem like a real human being. They're not someone who's going for a joke in a scene, but it feels more organic. It doesn't, sometimes I feel like I see improv and it feels like that's improv. They're doing their game or their whatever trick in their head or whatever. And then other people I feel like, hey, you're really acting. I feel like you're listening and there's a connection here. So there's another woman I thought was very funny is Briga Heelan.
Hilarious.
She's got a show called Great News that came out with Andrea Martin, I believe.
Yes.
On
just
NBC.
Recently.
It's a network sitcom. She's the lead of that. She's really funny. So they both ended up coming in to read for the same part, the part that I gave to Briga.
Mm-hmm.
Briga came in first, and when she read for me, it was one of those things where the actor comes in and is pretty close to what you imagined in your head. I thought, oh, great, she's so funny, this is great. But then I still had to see more people, and Kate came in. She did it way differently than I expected, with the same words, but just brought a different, it's like a singer just, having the same song, but bringing different phrasing to it or something. So I thought, man, she's really funny too. And I thought, well, wait a minute, I'm the director, and I'm the writer, I can just fix it. I can just write this other part for Kate. So I had a different thing in mind on the airplane, and then I made it for her, because I thought she was so funny. And so I got to have both of them in the movie. So I was really excited, and I thought they were both really funny.
Well, they're both amazing. One of the scenes is almost frightening how scary she goes. I don't want to give anything away, but you're like, oh shit, he could end up in jail. But that's the kind of fun thing. And then the airplane thing sets up that New York, LA, which is kind of underneath the whole film as well.
I mean, that's well-traveled territory for sure, but I'm someone who lived here for 14 years. My parents are from Brooklyn. Unfortunately, I grew up Jersey Shore. I mean, God bless New Jersey, but I don't fit. It's just not for me. I was on the math team. I was on the physics team. I'm from near where the show took place.
And they value that so much in New Jersey.
I was a hero in my high school.
The amount of songs Springsteen has brought up about mathletes over the years.
Exactly. Yeah. My fondness for New York is real, and I thought I'd live here forever. Then I went out there like every other schmuck trying to, chase showbiz dreams, and now I have a house and 2 kids and I'm comfy, so I like it out there. What's interesting to me is a couple things. First of all, the loneliest I've ever been in my life was when I visited LA when I was single. A few times I went out there for meetings and stuff. Within 3 hours, I wanted to kill myself. You can't walk anywhere. You try to walk somewhere, the sidewalk just ends, you're going to get hit by a car or something. It's like highways. And it's beautiful, but it's like you're not participating in it. It's just a strange thing. Now I have a family and I love it because I have my home. We eat at home and we can go to the beach, and now all of a sudden the parks and everything, because I have little kids, it's great. And now New York has become a nightmare.
Right.
Because you have the stroller and there's 90 things that can kill your kid in every spot they're standing, you know? You're like, Jesus Christ, this is so stressful. So it definitely has flipped. But what I found interesting was the idea of the typical, oh, the guy doesn't like LA. But what happens when you fall for someone?
Yeah.
When you go somewhere? In my experience, having a good friend or having a crush on someone or a relationship with someone, it changes your lens. It does change the place. So where LA can start out as like, oh, this is vapid and, you know, it's just kind of sun-beaten and, I don't know, feels empty a lot. You like someone, and now it's like kind of magical and, you know,
everything's great.
It's just, everything's great, you know?
Yeah.
And certainly New York, I always found it had such range, this city. On a good day, I felt like there was no place better than New York. And on a bad day, there's just no more heartless, fucking brutal, punch you in the neck when you're down. I had the flu once. I lived in a 6th floor walk-up on King Street. This was the best neighborhood I ever got to live in. It was Soho, basically. It's like Soho, and it's like King and 6th Avenue. It's like right near Prince over there. But my building was a 6th floor walk-up, pre-war, no elevators or anything. And I was, you know, just a single guy alone in my 30s, and I got the flu. And I didn't have any orange juice or anything. It was just one of the worst fucking nights of my life.
Yeah.
It took me 45 minutes to get down the stairs. Like, with my ski coat on, I had to get juice. And it was like 2 a.m, and I was like, I'm gonna die in this stairway.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a shit, you know?
As romantic as everyone gets about New York City does not love you back at all. And I mean, once this song, they don't care.
No.
That New York doesn't care. The beloved restaurant is gone. Okay. Next one.
Next. Yeah.
Regis is gone. Letterman is gone. The city just goes,
It's
you
true.
know, and you think they would mourn these things, but
I know.
they don't.
No, it's really, it's very humbling. I mean, it's something so healthy about New York in that sense, because nobody's bigger than New York. Nobody's special. You know what I mean? It's great. But it's on a bad day, it just does not cut you a break. LA is like, it's comfy.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It'll lull you to death for sure. You're just like, I've been here 20 years, what the hell?
Yeah.
I've been wearing sweatpants for a decade, you know, stuff like that. So that's weird, but if you keep tabs on it, and I try not to watch the TV that much, to tell you the truth. That kind of, I feel like that's one way to go down.
Well, I don't know how you can turn off Trump. There's a show right now on TV that's just, I can't miss it.
I gotta say, I was sucked in pretty hard, like a lot of people, looking at CNN, Huffington Post, whatever my little cocktail of weird information to pump into my head every day was, leading up to the election, like the real-time poll returns and everything. And the election happened, and the next morning I woke up, I was like, I'm done with this shit. I'm not looking at news. And I haven't looked at any news sites since the election. Because I figured I'm going to still know what's going on, because you can't escape it.
Oh, yeah, nothing's happened. Don't worry, you haven't missed much.
The thing is, now... I know things got better, right?
Yeah, it's all working out.
But now I get it. Now I just get my news and conversations from human beings, which is nicer than reading it.
It's so funny that, you know, I'll go after the mail, and you'll see a neighbor, and they'll be like, do you believe this? And I'm like, hold on, I haven't seen it yet. But it is a daily thing, you know?
Yeah, strange days.
But I'll go back to the way I started this, that I was surprised in your film, because I don't think you write stand-up from all these spots that you write and direct at your film.
Yeah, I did 2 one-man shows years ago. I guess 3. I did 3 one-man shows that I did mostly overseas at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Right.
And those were very personal. This was 2003, 4, 5, around there, 3 summers in a row. And they were very autobiographical and confessional in a sense. Now, this was pre the explosion of YouTube and certainly pre-smartphones, the way we know them now, at least. So I kind of got away with it. The material came and went. And I'm glad that I did it then, because it's not a good fit for me. I don't know. I just wasn't comfortable doing it. But now, having said that, having made the movie, I'm trying to figure out how to do comedy that's rooted, I guess, below the neck a little more, you'd say. A little more heart, a little more emotion. I'm drawn to more thinking comedy, if you call it that. Like ideas. I like the idea. I like jokes because they're things. I could make a joke and then share it with you guys and show you, but it's not about me, really. It might be about my perspective, but it's not my life story. Ever since I heard the word mansplain, I find that a very useful check on anything you do, especially as a straight white guy. I think that's like a real thing. And you could describe a lot of stand-up as mansplaining.
Oh, that's interesting that you would say that, because people come into stand-up from all different perspectives. Yeah. And there's a lot of guys, no matter how old they get to be, it's still kind of street corner comedy.
And I love a lot of it, but it is, I just feel like I want to think about what the audience is going through. And for the movie, that was a big deal for me too. Like, we have so many choices, too much content. There's so much. I feel like you have to curate your experience.
Yes.
If I could see what everybody's into in this room, it would be like nothing would be similar. I mean, maybe it was always like that, but when there was just 3 networks and this many movie releases every year, you could gravitate, hey, I'm Star Wars, you're Star Trek or whatever. Now it's like, I don't even know half I mean, it's crazy. So if someone's going to give you their time, I feel like they've opted in, they've made a choice. Yeah. So in return, I want to be like mindful of what they're going through.
Well, just think of specials alone. Even when you started to make specials, there were a couple.
Right.
Now you can be a comedy fan and you cannot keep up with the specials. You can fall 4 or 5 behind it within a week.
Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy.
But that means that you have to be more connected to your audience, I guess, right?
I think so. And yeah, again, I don't know why I'm on such an empathy kick. Maybe because of the election and like the way the world feels these days, but it does seem like a simple guiding principle for a lot of behavior in life and experiences is just like taking the time to think about what someone else is going through. It's like very easy not to do that. But when I do that, I feel less angry usually. And I just feel like a little more like a human being. I'm a little more connected. I go right to, I get road rage. I'm just like every other asshole from New Jersey. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just trying to learn how to, I don't know why I'm shitting on New Jersey today. I apologize.
Well, no one's ever done it before, so you're fine
I know.
with that.
Another original angle I'm taking. Well, I actually had a great time in New Jersey. I think it's just, it's funny when you get distance from where you're from, you see it a little bit differently. And I think when that Jersey Shore show came out, it just brought back a lot of bad high school memories. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm just trying to say is getting to make a movie and working with other people and really collaborating with people. It's just made me think more outside of myself, even though I still love stand up and coming up with jokes and sharing them with people. It just changes the interaction. So it's not just like, hey, here's my ideas, or, look at me and, please listen to me. It's more like, all right, what's the world we live in these days? What are people going through?
Well, you use one other device besides the music and the dialogue and the character study, and that's these drawings. And immediately, and these are yours yourself, right?
Yeah.
You did these. You know who it reminded me of years ago when everyone got to paper every day, and there was always that thing of going straight for Gary Larson's Far Side, right? Because it would be this one thought that you would even have to figure out sometimes.
Yeah, Gary Larson was my favorite.
Yeah.
A big influence. My 2 favorite, I think, comedy influences, or maybe there were 3 or 4. It was Gary Larson, Stephen Wright, who I've mentioned many times in interviews, my dad, who was not a comedian, but a funny guy, and Peter Sellers. I love Peter Sellers. I think those were, for me, very early formative influences comedically. But Gary Larson, we didn't have a lot of bookstores in my town, but we had the mall. And there was a B. Dalton bookstore in there. Yeah, so they had Far Side.
Yeah.
So I didn't know about the New Yorker and New Yorker cartoons and all this. Later, Saul Steinberg became I still love.
Yeah.
I have lots of his books. But yeah, Gary Larson, if you guys know the Far Side, some of them are single panel. It's like some of them don't even have words. It's just like kind of a scene. And it's like you get to play the next frame or something. It's like taking a frame out of a film and just showing you that one thing. So it's like, I think you get to participate in a sense. That's what I liked about a lot of Stephen Wright jokes, was that I got to finish the part that he's not telling me. It's almost like they give you 90% of it and you get to do 10%. So it does feel a little active. Whereas other stuff might be 97%, you only get to do 3%. Or the 100%, just like straight up observational, like, remember when you get a wedgie or something, and you're like, yes, I remember that. There's no work there, know? Yeah. I don't know.
What was it that drew you to Peter Sellers? When did that happen? At what age?
Very young, because my dad liked the Pink Panther movies, so he showed us those. And I thought he was a French guy. I didn't know that Peter Sellers was English. And then later seeing, Strangelove and being there, The Party.
Unbelievable films.
Just such if there were a comedy acting genius, for me, Peter Sellers is on the list.
Yeah.
Just because he was all in. I felt like I really believed him in everything that he did. And there was compassion and pain in the guy's eyes. I didn't feel like there was something else going on. Sometimes, you know, and I know too many people in showbiz, so you see your friend in something, so you can look in their eyes and be like, he's thinking about lunch. He's not really in this, you know.
Sellers, I've talked to so many people who knew him, and I don't know how comfortable he was with life when he wasn't performing. But I think it was Cheech that was saying, like, he knew him for years and would call, and he said every time his assistant would answer, this Asian guy would put Cheech through the thing. He's like, after 12 years, he figures out there's no assistant.
It's
ever.
just him.
But he always would answer the phone immediately that way.
That's so cool.
And that's like, he's performing, he's creating worlds when there is no audience for that, right?
Yeah.
And then
really
he doesn't do it. Hey, Cheech, I got you. You know what I mean? It didn't matter to him.
Right. That's
you know?
so interesting. Yeah. Just a different beast. Yeah, that's interesting. But, so anyway, so I put the drawings in because I do love Gary Larson, and I made my character an illustrator rather than a stand-up comedian because I thought there was something to do there. In the visual medium that you have, this big rectangle you can tell your story on, there's an opportunity. You can put drawings up there. You can make him a painter and have paintings, but there's real estate you can use. You can split the screen, which I did a little bit in the movie, so you see some footage on one side and then the drawing, or you see me drawing and then the finished drawing would slide in or something. And that was cool because I played a more introverted person than I am in real life.
Yeah.
But there's no big range there. It's kind of me, but, you know, I changed, like, he's an only child, and again, I haven't had a dad since I was 20, so here I flipped it so I could see what it would be like to have a dad as a grown-up and how you're trying to relate to him when you're both going through the same thing. But the drawings were very helpful in telling the story. And when I got to the edit especially, I could have a transition from one scene to another because it turned out I didn't shoot enough exteriors or whatever for that location because we didn't have enough time. Then I could put a drawing and I'm like, cool, that smooths it over. Stuff like that.
And it also, for me, is a movie without judgment of the characters. Each one, and I'm talking about even the smaller characters, the side characters, they're all going through their own thing. But at no time do we go, well, this is the right person and this is the wrong person and this is the good person, this is the bad person.
That feels more like real life to me.
Yeah.
I think in a lot of the movies I like, the storyteller, the director seems to have empathy, or at least thinks about, like, they're fond of their characters, or they love them. They care about them. Even the villain becomes a human being. It seems like easy and kind of boring to just make somebody the bad guy.
Right.
Just like, oh, so he's just a lunatic? It's like, there's no story there? Is there any, why is the guy like that, you know?
Yeah.
And then when the good guy's too good, that's boring too. And I'm certainly not going to make myself the hero in my own movie, you know? I mean, you follow me through the story, but I've got problems. I'm not some great guy.
Yeah, and it probably is true that people think that they're good guys.
Definitely. I tried to do a bit about that. I can't quite get it to work, but it seemed like there are so many assholes in the world because everybody's the protagonist in their story.
Yeah.
But there's some bad guys out there, but they think they're not.
Right. Even Hitler.
Right.
Was like, Hitler was literally like, I give and I give and I give.
Right.
And I get nothing back from these people. Incompetence everywhere I look.
It's true.
They
look
have
at these outfits I got for everyone.
Everybody looks great. Where do you think that came from?
Right. This will be the takeaway from our whole interview.
Yes.
Anti-Semite, Demetri Martin. My wife's Jewish, everybody, so please relax.
I guess has a movie out called Dean.
Yeah.
But thanks so much for stopping by.
Shit, that's what we're ending on?
Yes, we're ending. You can't follow Hitler.
That's
Everybody
right.
knows this.
That's right.
But all right, rather than end on Hitler, so people, feel okay about it.
Okay, thanks.
Is there plans for more, or is this exhausting enough to just say this is it for a while?
No, I outlined another movie last summer, and I realized it was too high concept because even if I got the money to make it, I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I'm good enough yet. I don't quite know how to do what I want to do there. So I put it to the side, and I'm halfway through my next script that's just got a little bit of a concept to it. So there's a little sci-fi element. So I'm trying to slowly work my way up. I hope I get to make a handful of movies. I can see that they're hard to make now, and it takes a while. But yeah, I want to make more.
Now, would it be crossing a line if you were to say to Albert Brooks, hey, maybe we could do something together? Because
No,
I'd like to see him working more.
I know, yeah, I don't think it would. His wife's really cool. They're both very nice, actually, and his wife's really cool because she'll encourage. I'll be over there with my wife and at a dinner party they're having or something, and his wife will say, "You guys should do something together." And I'm always like, "Oh yeah, that'd be cool."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah." So
the Desert Inn has heart.
Exactly. And I just try to gently prod him. One time he came and saw me do stand up in this room in LA. And when he came to the show with his wife and his son, I said, "Hey, if you want to come on stage, like, let me know. Just like go like that with your hand or something, and I'll give you half my stage time, 10 minutes, whatever you want. I'm a fan. I just love to see you on stage." He's like, "Oh, okay." And he never did. And after the show, his wife was like, he almost did. You never know if he really almost did. But it is really interesting, a guy like that, because you're at dinner and he's just doing bits. Kind of like what you're saying about Peter Sellers, where it's like, okay, he's got an audience at the dinner party, but it's not, he'll do a bit, and I'm thinking, God, that'd be so funny in front of a real audience and everything, but I guess he's also accomplished a lot of the things he wants to, so.
But, go back and listen to the people that don't know Albert's stand-up. Those early albums are unbelievable.
Really groundbreaking, just really inventive. I think that's what I and a lot of people admire about a guy like Albert, and certainly say what you will about Woody Allen, the same thing. There's invention, and there's something really original. It's really sharing your own imagination. And when you can get that to work for other people, there's something really magical about it.
What is the album that he did just in the studio by himself? Is like A Star Is Bought?
Yeah, A Star Is Bought.
And he's like this, well, first, congratulations everyone for your purchase. Right from the beginning. He's just, you talk about sounding like a salesman, with
he's
comedy.
Hilarious.
And it's just so funny. And the entire album is him making an album and you're listening to it.
Yeah.
But this is for the country people. No, this is for the people who like talk radio.
Yeah.
And it's just, if it came out today, you're like, oh, we've got a bright new comedic mind.
I think it's one of the great things about getting to be in showbiz is that you have a chance. It's on you, especially if you are willing to write and try to generate your own material. And if you can give yourself a break when you're coming up with stuff.
Yeah.
And just not be too hard on it. I'm sure we've all heard about that part of the creative process where you silence the critique for a while. Or, the critic or whatever. Then, I don't know, something really great can happen. You come up with a lot of garbage, but in there, if you can sift through it, you find something that might be useful and it might resonate with other people. And even getting to know a guy like Albert and some of the other people I've met in my travels, you realize, we're all human beings. It's like, some of them just start with a little more than us, but it still takes work. And I see a guy like that, he's got to work. We all have to work. And it's like, when it actually does work, it's validating in a really different way than if you didn't try and dig deep,
Well, again, I'll go right back to where I started this with you. I think the most interesting thing is I first saw you as a kid doing these jokes, some brilliant jokes, but never thought that you would grow into the performer who would write, direct, and star.
Oh, thanks.
In a film like Dean. It's a long trip to make.
Yeah.
So I'll just say congratulations on that. June 2nd, look forward to going out in 12 cities. Demetri Martin, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
That was really fun. Really, really great.
Thanks. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate it.